Chapter 2087. Do you admit defeat? Ling Xiao said indifferently, his voice rumbling like thunder in the Flame Emperor cauldron. No! Feng Qingyang roared, his voice filled with grief, indignation, and unwillingness. Runes rose from his body as the silver spear in his hand tried to pierce through the Flame Emperor cauldron. Who is this person? How can he be so strong? The geniuses who came with Feng Qingyang were stunned as well. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they watched the scene unfold before them. Initially, they thought that Feng Qingyang would be able to suppress Ling Xiao easily. However, they did not expect that the result would be like this. Feng Qingyang was almost suppressed by Ling Xiao. Save young Master Qingyang! Someone shouted, and the geniuses immediately attacked Ling Xiao, erupting with powerful energy in an attempt to interfere with Ling Xiao's battle heavenly art and rescue Feng Qingyang from the Flame Emperor cauldron. You're all loyal, but unfortunately, you're still too weak. Ling Xiao looked at the crowd with some surprise. His blood and qi surged to the sky as he threw a punch at the crowd. Kacha! Chaotic qi rose, and the void all around trembled. Ling Xiao performed the fist of the Heavenly Emperor, and the chaotic fist swept through the void for hundreds of millions of miles, shattering everyone's attacks. Then, without losing any momentum, the chaotic fist landed on their bodies. It was as if an ancient divine mountain was pressing down on them. The young experts all trembled violently as they spat out mouthfuls of blood. One by one, they were sent flying back. If you don't admit defeat, then I'll beat you until you do. Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp as the Flame Emperor cauldron trembled violently. He punched again, and hundreds of punches landed on the Flame Emperor cauldron, causing it to vibrate strangely and erupt with terrifying sound waves that seemed capable of reducing everything to dust. Rumble! Feng Qingyang was suppressed in the Flame Emperor cauldron. He roared and circulated the heavenly sun art, causing suns to rise around him as he tried to break out of the Flame Emperor cauldron. However, when the boundless sound wave erupted, it even contained a vast dragon's might, causing Feng Qingyang's body to tremble violently. Traces of blood seeped out of his pores. His internal organs were severely injured, and he coughed up blood continuously. I don't admit defeat. I refuse to accept this. Feng Qingyang roared. His eyes were filled with defiance. In an instant, terrifying divine light rose around him. Above his head, lightning blazed. A celestial flower of the great path appeared and slowly bloomed. In an instant, it spewed out infinite divine light. The Grand Tao Immortal Flower emitted a mysterious light as the vast laws of the Grand Tao supported Feng Qingyang, causing his aura to skyrocket. He looked like a supreme saint, dignified and mysterious. The injuries on Feng Qingyang's body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. His silver battle armor emitted a dazzling radiance. His eyes were filled with monstrous fighting intent and anger. The silver spear was imbued with an immeasurable amount of divine power. It stabbed into the Yen Emperor cauldron, causing it to tremble violently. Beams of divine light shot out, and in the end, the cauldron exploded. I'll kill you! Feng Qingyang had suffered such a great loss in the hands of Ling Xiao. He was young and impetuous and could not bear such a setback. He stabbed the silver spear in his hand at Ling Xiao. At this moment, Feng Qingyang seemed to have become a supreme saint, possessing the power to destroy the world. Stepping into the celestial being realm? But you haven't even reached the human sovereign realm. You're still too weak. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look. He could see that the Grand Tao Immortal Flower above Feng Qingyang's head was filled with chaotic qi. It seemed like a mysterious shadow had appeared, but it had not completely condensed. This meant that Feng Qingyang had not reached the human sovereign realm, and his strength was still weaker than Hua Xiang's. Boom! Ling Xiao directly punched out, and the incomparably violent energy around him completely exploded. Accompanied by the majestic roar of a dragon, chaotic qi permeated the air, and 3,000 worlds rose. This punch was like the hand of the heavens, wanting to destroy everything. His eyes were sharp, and his aura was monstrous. After being tempered by chaos several times, Ling Xiao's physical body had become unbelievably strong. Boom! The silver spear in Feng Qingyang's hand vibrated violently, and an unparalleled divine power erupted, causing the silver spear to fly out of his hand. Feng Qingyang's body was also trembling violently, and he was sent flying by Ling Zhao's punch. In the face of absolute power, everything was just an illusion. Although Feng Qingyang had unleashed his celestial ascension realm cultivation and possessed the strength of a saint, he was still completely defeated by Ling Zhao's heavenly sovereign fist. Boom! Light flowed under Ling Zhao's feet as he used the secret teleportation technique, and instantly teleported hundreds of millions of feet away. He appeared in front of Feng Qingyang, grabbed him by the throat, and lifted him up. "You're Long Outyen of the War God Temple?" Feng Qingyang's face was flushed, and he could not hide the shock in his eyes as he stared at Ling Xiao. "You recognize me? You dare to attack me after recognizing me? Are you courting death?" Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Feng Qingyang was about to curse in his heart. "I just recognized you as that freak Long Outyen, okay? If I had known you earlier, who would have dared to attack you?" Feng Qingyang was full of complaints, but he still said coldly, "Even if you are Long Outyen, don't expect me to submit to you. I, Feng Qingyang, would rather die than submit to you. You really don't want to submit? Then I can only kill you." Ling Xiao said indifferently, and there was a trace of cold, killing intent in his eyes. Looking at Ling Xiao's cold eyes, Feng Qingyang could not help but shudder. He quickly said, "Palace Master Long, the Supreme Doctrine Palace and the War God Temple have been good friends for generations, and we are allies. If you kill me, aren't you afraid of destroying the relationship between our two sects? At most, I will apologize to you." Feng Qingyang's face was flushed, and he was so ashamed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. He had never thought that there would be a day when he would beg for mercy. It was simply too embarrassing. "Submit to me, and I will spare your life." Ling Xiao withdrew the killing intent in his eyes and said with a faint smile, "Palace Master Long, you are so powerful. What's the use of me submitting to you? Why don't you let me go, and I will use treasures to apologize to you. How about it?" Feng Qingyang was still very unwilling to accept this. "Don't bargain with me. If you submit to me, all your treasures will naturally be mine. You want to use my treasures to apologize to me? Do you believe that I will kill you right now?" Ling Xiao said as he stared at Feng Qingyang with an unfriendly expression. Feng Qingyang was speechless, and he suddenly cursed in his heart. He was convinced by such a strange reason. "Long Outyen, if you want me to submit to you, I can do it, but only in the chaotic ancient land. You have to let me go after the Heavenly Choice Convention. Otherwise, you will have to kill me." Feng Qingyang finally submitted and said with grief and indignation, "No problem, I like people like you who know how to adapt to circumstances. Work hard for me in the future, and I will not mistreat you." Ling Xiao smiled as he patted Feng Qingyang's head. In fact, he did not intend to kill Feng Qingyang. After all, the Supreme Doctrine Palace and the War God Temple had a good relationship. He just wanted to scare Feng Qingyang and kill his arrogance. He did not expect that this kid would be so sensible and submit to him. Ling Xiao naturally accepted such a follower without any hesitation. Feng Qingyang turned his head to the side in grief and indignation. He felt that the following days were dark, and there was no way he could stand out. Chapter 2088. Young Master Qingyang, you? How can you submit to him? He's just an 8th revolution half-saint. This is a disgrace to your wisdom. The young geniuses found it hard to accept. They looked at Ling Xiao in awe and whispered to Feng Qingyang, "Do you know who he is?" Feng Qingyang asked the young geniuses. These people were not disciples of the Supreme Tao Palace, but people who followed Feng Qingyang in the chaotic ancient land. "Who is he? Could he be an ancient sky pride?" A black-robed young man said unwillingly. "He's not an ancient sky pride, but he has killed an ancient sky pride before." Feng Qingyang said in a serious tone. His eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. "What? Killed an ancient sky pride?" Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Who were ancient sky prides? They were supreme experts in the ancient times, and they had even swept through an era. The reason why they had sealed themselves until today was for the Heaven's Choice Convention. Those ancient sky prides had broken through the limit at least once, and their strength was terrifying. Feng Qingyang said that Ling Xiao had killed an ancient sky pride, which was hard for everyone to accept. Have you heard of Hua Ziang? He's a sky pride of the Chinese. Even Hua Tianqiong and Yang, one of the heavenly cursed sect, died in his hands. Although he's just an 8th revolution half-saint, he has the strength to kill a saint. Feng Qingyang sighed and glanced at Ling Xiao. He found that Ling Xiao was very calm, as if there was no expression on his face. Feng Qingyang was also guessing that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 8th revolution half-saint realm, and he was severely injured. He was afraid that it was the means of the 2 great saint experts of the Hua clan and the heavenly curse sect. The more Feng Qingyang thought about it, the more shocked he was that Ling Xiao could escape from the 2 great saints. In the divine world, many people thought that Ling Xiao had died in the hands of the Chinese and the heavenly curse sect, but they did not expect him to survive and enter the chaotic ancient land. Long Outyen. Everyone's body trembled as a name appeared in their minds. Their faces were filled with incomparable shock. Naturally, they had also heard of Long Outyen's name. In the divine world, Long Outyen's name resounded like thunder. He had once fought against Elder Huang Tai of the 9-layered imperial obelisk, forced the saints of the Hua clan and heavenly curse sect to lower their heads, and killed Hua Ziang, Hua Tianqiong, and Yang Wen. Every one of these achievements was enough to shock the entire divine world. After the Chinese and the heavenly curse sect announced that Long Outyen had been killed, they thought that Long Outyen was really dead. However, they did not expect to see Long Outyen in the chaotic ancient land. After knowing Ling Xiao's true identity, the conflict in their hearts lessened significantly. This was a peerless expert comparable to the prides of heaven of ancient times. An 8th revolution half-saint was able to kill an expert of the 3rd level of heaven treading. Once he broke through the limit and broke through to the 3rd level of heaven treading, how terrifying would he be? At that time, he might even be able to fight against the legendary Son of Heaven. When Feng Qingyang saw the shocked expression on everyone's face, he felt a little better. It seemed like Long Outyen's name had thoroughly frightened them. Feng Qingyang, tell me about the situation in the chaotic ancient land first. Ling Xiao glanced at Feng Qingyang and said indifferently. He had just arrived at the chaotic ancient land and was only in this boundless chaotic star island. He was not clear about the situation in the chaotic ancient land and was eager to know about the situation in the chaotic ancient land and the Heaven's Choice Convention. Palace Master Long, the chaotic ancient land has been open for 3 years. In these 3 years, countless prides of heaven from all over the universe have entered the chaotic ancient land and cultivated with the help of the incomparably pure origin energy in the chaotic ancient land. Their cultivation base has advanced by leaps and bounds. Most of them have become high-level half-saints and are extremely powerful. There are a total of 108 holy cities in the chaotic ancient land, and the sea region we are in is within the territory of the human race's holy cities. Feng Qingyang nodded and began to introduce the situation in the chaotic ancient land to Ling Xiao. You don't have to call me Palace Master Long in the future. Just call me Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao said indifferently, a strange light flashing in his eyes. It was time for the name Ling Xiao to come back. Ling Xiao had a hunch that his identity could not be hidden for long. Moreover, he was confident that after the Heaven's Choice Convention, he would be able to affirm his Tao and become a saint. He would have enough strength to protect himself and would not need to hide his identity anymore. Feng Qingyang did not know Ling Xiao's thoughts and was secretly criticizing him. He thought that Ling Xiao must have a guilty conscience and was afraid that the Chinese and heavenly curse sect would seek revenge on him. Therefore, he used the alias Ling Xiao. However, he did not think too much about it and nodded before continuing to speak. The chaotic ancient land was a mysterious existence. No one knew where the chaotic ancient land was. The chaotic ancient land would only appear in the Heaven's Choice Convention that was held once every epoch. The primal chaos ancient land was incomparably vast. No one knew exactly how big it was. It contained countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures, mysterious treasures, and even the abodes of saints and great emperors. There were thousands of opportunities, thousands of fortunes. Among them, there were 108 holy cities, which were left behind by experts in the antiquity times. Rumor had it that these holy cities belonged to the 108 strongest races in the universe. Their specific origins were unknown. These 108 holy cities were used for many geniuses to trade treasures, rest, and discuss Tao. There were law enforcers in the holy cities. Killing was prohibited in the holy cities and violators would be beheaded by the law enforcers. The chaotic ancient land had been opened for 3 years. Although there were passages to enter the chaotic ancient land from all over the universe, they were randomly teleported. Everyone would be teleported to a different region. Some people would even be teleported to the holy cities of the devil race. Naturally, that would not bode well for them. In the past 3 years, many heaven's prides had obtained a lot of fortunes and opportunities in the chaotic ancient land. Their cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds, and they had begun to explore this mysterious region. What is the specific content of the Heaven's Choice Convention? Do you know how to become the Heaven's Choice child? Ling Xiao looked at Feng Qingyang and asked, "I'm afraid no one knows about this." Feng Qingyang smiled wryly and said, "After entering the chaotic ancient land, the Heaven's Choice Convention is considered to have begun. As for how to become the Heaven's Choice child, no one knows. But everyone is working hard to cultivate, strengthen themselves, and then explore the secrets of the chaotic ancient land. They want to find the method to become the Heaven's Choice child." Ling Xiao nodded. It seemed that the Heaven's Choice Convention was not the same as he had imagined. Moreover, the interval between each Heaven's Choice Convention was too long. The great calamity of the epoch had buried everything. The past could not be used as a reference, and one could only rely on oneself. However, Ling Xiao did not expect that he would be in a coma for 3 years. In other words, he had fallen into a state of suspended animation. If he had not comprehended the secrets of chaos, fate, karma, and samsara, it would not have been so easy for him to wake up. Chapter 2089. Do you know where Fairy Jints of the Supreme Tao Palace is? Ling Xiao looked at Feng Qingyang and asked with a hint of expectation. Jin Se should be in the chaotic ancient land. Feng Qingyang looked at Ling Xiao strangely. He didn't know why Ling Xiao would suddenly ask about Jin Se, but he still answered, "Junior sister Jin Se has indeed entered the ancient chaotic land, but I don't know where she is now. Perhaps she is in the holy city of the human race. Or perhaps she is in another holy city." I see. Have you seen these 3 people before? Ling Xiao was slightly disappointed. It seemed that Jin Se and Feng Qingyang were not teleported together. However, as long as Jin Se was in the chaotic ancient land, he would be able to find her. Ling Xiao's palm flashed and Shui Wei, the white dragon horse, and Fatty He appeared in the void. However, Ling Xiao did not have much hope. "No, I haven't." Feng Qingyang shook his head and said. However, one of Feng Qingyang's followers suddenly said, "Lord Ling Xiao, I think I have seen this dragon horse." "Where is it?" Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he looked at the black-robed youth and asked. "In the monster's Saint City. I have seen this dragon horse in the monster's Saint City. However, it was very wretched. It ate one of the origin source sacred herbs from the heavenly demon young master and was hunted down by the heavenly demon young master." The black-robed youth thought for a while and said, "Monster's Saint City? I see. Thank you." Ling Xiao nodded and said, he was going to make a trip to the Monster's Saint City after he recovered from his injuries to find Shui Wei and the other 2. Ling Xiao was not too worried about their safety. After all, Fatty He's original form was a Kuanping, which was already a 3rd-stage heaven-treading expert. Moreover, the white dragon horse had extreme speed and should be able to protect Shui Wei. Moreover, in the chaotic ancient land, each saint city was hundreds of millions of miles apart. It was not easy to travel across a saint city. "Lord Ling Xiao, you are too kind." The black-robed youth was flattered. "Ling Xiao, you are not going to the monster's saint city now, are you? The monster's prodigies are not to be trifled with. Some of them are very hostile to the human race. There are many monsters experts in the Monster Saint City and they often have conflicts with the human race. However, the demon clan is very lucky. They can find all kinds of heavenly treasures and occupy many blessed paradises. Feng Qingyang said unhappily. It seemed like there was some enmity between him and the experts of the demon race. Feng Qingyang, do you know where I can find heavenly treasures that contain boundless life energy? I need to concoct pills to heal my injuries. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A natural treasure that contains life energy? Of course there was. Hee, I know of a genius of the demon race who has many such treasures. But that guy is very strong. I can't beat him. Do you dare to go? Feng Qingyang rolled his eyes and said with a smile that harbored evil intentions. A prodigy of the demon clan? What is his cultivation level? Ling Xiao asked. He has already reached the human sovereign realm. That guy is very brutal. He is on good terms with a holy son of the heavenly curse sect and has killed many of our experts. He has the longevity grass. Feng Qingyang said slowly. Befriend the holy son of the heavenly curse sect? Then he's unlucky. Take me there. We can't miss out on the longevity grass. If what you said is true, I'll give you a divine elixir pill to help you reach the human sovereign realm. Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. When Ling Xiao was besieged by Hua Xiong and Chen Kuan, he had sworn to destroy the Chinese and the heavenly curse sect. Now that he heard that this genius of the demon clan was on good terms with the holy son of the heavenly curse sect, he was ready to kill him. Reach the human sovereign realm? Don't worry. That guy calls himself the sky-piercing demon saint. He seems to have a talent for finding treasures. Not only does he have the longevity grass, but he also has various origin divine elixirs. He won't let you down. Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up immediately. He had gone through a lot of trouble to break the limit for the first time. However, he didn't have enough accumulation. He didn't know when he would reach the human sovereign realm. Ling Xiao's words made him excited and he started to take it seriously. Let's go. Ling Xiao said faintly. Feng Qingyang immediately soared into the sky and flew away with Ling Xiao and the rest. Everyone was shocked as well. They had all heard of how brutal the sky-reaching demon saint was, and that his hands were stained with the blood of many geniuses. Now that Ling Xiao was going to make an example out of him, they were both shocked and excited. To be able to witness a peerless genius, their hearts were filled with anticipation. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Feng Qingyang led Ling Xiao and the rest out of the spiritual stone island. The chaotic star island was extremely vast. There was a huge continent in the center, which was the human clan's holy city. Feng Qingyang was going to bring Ling Xiao to a huge island called the Sky-Piercing Island. The Sky-Piercing Demon Saint had named it himself. The chaotic star island was filled with danger. Not only were there powerful beasts in the sky, but there were also ferocious sea beasts in the sea. Those were ancient ferocious beasts. No one knew how long they had been cultivating. Some were even stronger than sages. Other than that, chaotic storms would appear at irregular intervals in the chaotic star island. The chaotic storms could shatter all laws and energy and disintegrate all living beings into chaotic particles. It was extremely terrifying. Even sages did not dare to face the chaotic storms and could only avoid them. Therefore, unless they were looking for treasures, very few people would come to the chaotic star island. Feng Qingyang, Ling Xiao, and the rest were extremely fast. Along the way, the chaotic star island was very peaceful. They did not encounter any powerful ferocious beasts or chaotic storms. They arrived at the Sky-Piercing Island without any mishaps. The Sky-Piercing Island was extremely vast. It was actually hundreds of times the size of the spiritual stone island. The island had undulating mountain ranges and towering ancient trees. It was filled with chaotic mist and contained boundless energy essence. It was a paradise. Ling Xiao could sense the aura of many powerful beings on the Sky-Piercing Island. Each of them was extremely powerful. This is the Sky-Piercing Island. The Sky-Piercing Demon Saint has built the heavenly palace in the most central mountain range. He has gathered many powerful demons and even enslaved many primitive humans to serve him. This fellow is extremely vicious and cunning. He is a malignant tumor. Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with disgust at the mention of the sky-piercing demon saint. Let's go. It is your fortune to build the heavenly palace for the sky-piercing demon saint. If you dare to slow down, I will throw all of you into the divine dragon cave. Suddenly, a cold reprimand came from below. Ling Xiao and Feng Qingyang saw that in the mountain range below, there were many humans in ragged clothes. Their cultivation levels had been sealed, and they were working hard to break the mountain rocks and extract stones. Chapter 2090. Sir, can you make an exception? My grandson is still young. He can't carry such a heavy stone. Can I carry it for him? A white-haired old man with a face full of wrinkles was carrying a huge rock. He was hunched over and begged a black-robed man. Beside him stood a 7- or 8-year-old child. He looked very cute, but at this moment, his face was flushed red. He was carrying a piece of stone that was as tall as a person. He walked unsteadily, as if he would fall at any moment. The stones were extremely heavy. They were the essence of the stone mine and contained chaotic energy. Therefore, even if these human experts had strong bodies, they could not bear it. You're helping him carry the stone? Old thing, since your grandson can't even carry the stone, why don't I eat him? The black-robed man held a steel whip and looked at the child maliciously. He licked his scarlet tongue and his eyes were filled with cruelty. Sir, please have mercy. My grandson is still young. Please let him go. The old man's expression changed drastically. He put down the stone on his back and knelt in front of the black-robed man. His heart was filled with regret. Old thing, you dare to disobey my orders? Get lost. I'm going to eat your grandson today. The black-robed man kicked the old man to the ground and then whipped the old man with the steel whip. The old man's flesh was torn open and his body was badly mutilated. He screamed in pain. Sir, I was wrong. My grandson can carry the stone. Please let him go. Or you can eat me. I'm willing to exchange my life for yours. Although the old man was badly mutilated and his face was extremely pale, he still begged bitterly. Grandfather, you don't have to beg them. They're a bunch of inhumane people. I would rather die than let you beg them. The child's face was filled with anger. He helped the old man up and glared at the black-robed man. You've got some backbone. But I like to eat children with backbone like you. Soft skin and tender flesh, but hard bones and chewy. If you're roasted over a fire, it'll be delicious. Come here, you'll be the 3,622nd child I'll eat. The black-robed man licked his lips. His eyes were filled with a cruel light. He reached out and grabbed the child. His whole body was filled with a thick murderous aura. The surrounding black-robed men looked on coldly as if they were watching a show. Their eyes were filled with cruelty. The surrounding humans were as silent as cicadas in the winter. Their eyes were filled with sympathy for the loss of their companions. Bastard! Xiaoru, am not afraid of you. One day, the prodigies of the human race will kill all of you to avenge. The 7- or 8-year-old child's face was flushed red. It was difficult for him to speak because he was choked, but his eyes were incomparably bright as he stared at the black-robed man. Grandpa has let you down. The elder's voice was hoarse and tears flowed down his face. He was filled with regret and anger. He had only hoped that the black-robed man would make an exception, but he had never thought that the black-robed man would want to eat his own grandson. If he had known earlier, he would rather not have begged. That way Xiaorui could still survive. Xiaorui? You're really childish. What is this place? This is the sky-piercing demon overlord's cave abode, the Peerless Sky Palace. Even many of your human race's geniuses have died at the hands of the sky-piercing demon overlord. You still want them to save you? Hee, I'll swallow you alive today. I'd like to see who dares to save you. The black-robed man's eyes were incomparably cruel. He swept his gaze across the many human experts present. Immediately, everyone couldn't help but tremble. They didn't dare to look at the black-robed man and lowered their heads. Their hearts were filled with despair. When would these dark days come to an end? The black-robed man sneered with a trace of disdain in his eyes. Then he opened his bloody mouth and wanted to swallow Xiao Rui alive. A giant black wolf seemed to appear behind him, emitting a monstrous demonic aura. It was a black wolf spirit. It was cruel and cunning. But looking at the black-robed man's actions, whether it was Xiao Rui's grandfather or the other human experts, there was no possibility of resisting at all. Their eyes were filled with despair. Especially Xiao Rui's grandfather. His entire body trembled and almost fainted. Rumble. Suddenly, a blazing fist print fell from the sky. It contained a vast power of lightning. The golden light was dazzling, causing the void to explode violently. It directly pressed down on the black-robed man's head. Who is it? The black-robed man's face changed. He roared and wanted to move away without thinking. He could feel the terrifying power contained in the fist print. It wasn't something he could resist at all. If he took it head-on, he would probably be seriously injured even if he didn't die. A group of evil creatures. How dare you bully my human race? The cold voice was like thunder, rumbling in the void. It was like a brilliant heavenly might, causing everyone to tremble. The fist was extremely fast and extremely powerful. The black-robed man couldn't dodge at all. He could only roar and raise the long whip in his hand to whip at the void. Rumble. The vast fist print exploded, and the long whip suddenly exploded into powder. Even the black-robed man below didn't seem to have any power to resist at all. He was directly blown apart by the fist. Blood mist permeated the void. This shocking scene left everyone dumbfounded. Xiao Rui was unscathed and was caught by a figure that descended from the void. It was a young man in white. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were like lightning, and his face was extraordinarily handsome. The blood chi around him was monstrous, causing the void to tremble. It was as if a heavenly emperor was patrolling. He had an invincible aura that could sweep across the world. Ling Xiao had arrived. The actions of the demon race were cruel and had no bottom line. This made Ling Xiao completely furious. Although he knew that this was likely to alert the enemy, he still attacked without hesitation. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the void, a blazing light rose. Streaks of sword rain fell like meteors. The terrifying attacks were indiscriminately aimed at the black-robed men of the demon race. Feng Qingyang and his followers also arrived shortly after. They were all experts of the human race. When they saw how the demon race treated the human race, their bloodthirst and killing intent were ignited in their hearts. Therefore, they didn't even need Ling Xiao to speak and attacked. Kill! In the blink of an eye, all the experts of the demon clan in the mine were killed. After all, these black-robed men of the demon race were only managers of the mine. Their cultivation wasn't high. Most of them were low-level half-saints. The most powerful 9-revolution half-saint couldn't even escape and was directly killed. Chapter 2091. A prodigy of the human clan has come to save us? The heavens have eyes. Someone has finally come to save us. Thank you for saving us, my lord. I will never forget your kindness. Everyone regained their senses from the shock and revealed an expression of incomparable ecstasy. Their gazes towards Ling Xiao and the others were filled with deep gratitude. Especially Ling Xiao, who was treated as their savior. Big brother, you're so powerful. Thank you for saving me. When I grow up, I want to be like you, slay demons and uphold justice on behalf of the heavens. Xiao Rui was in Ling Xiao's arms. He stared at Ling Xiao with his big clear eyes and said seriously, "You're very obedient and have a backbone. Cultivate well. You'll definitely be able to slay demons in the future." Ling Xiao smiled and patted Xiao Rui's little head. He had seen Xiao Rui's behavior and liked this stubborn young man very much. Ling Xiao handed Xiao Rui to his grandfather. The old man thanked him profusely, his voice choked with emotion. If Ling Xiao hadn't intervened, Xiao Rui would have been eaten by that black wolf demon. Feng Qingyang and the others came up and removed the seals in the bodies of the human clan experts. Suddenly, a powerful aura soared into the sky, causing the void to tremble slightly. Everyone revealed a joyful expression after surviving a disaster. However, their cultivation wasn't strong. Most of them were in the god realm. Only Xiao Rui's grandfather, Xiao Shan, had the highest cultivation. He had reached the 9th revolution half-saint realm. Thank you for saving us, my savior. However, you've killed so many black-robed demons and destroyed the piercing demon saint's mine. I'm afraid the piercing demon saint already knows about the situation here. Please leave this place quickly. If you're late, your life will be in danger. Xiao Shan's face was full of gratitude, but there was also a trace of worry in his eyes. The piercing demon saint was so famous that the natives of the chaotic ancient land were incomparably afraid of him. Even the prodigies of the human clan had been defeated by the piercing demon saint. He naturally didn't believe that Ling Xiao was a match for the piercing demon saint. Yes, my savior, please leave Piercing Island quickly. The piercing demon saint will definitely vent his anger on you. The piercing demon saint's strength is terrifying and incomparably cruel. My savior, please leave quickly. Everyone tried to persuade him. When they heard the sky-piercing demon saint's name, they couldn't help but reveal a trace of fear on their faces. Clearly, the fear that the sky-piercing demon saint instilled in them was deeply rooted. I'm here to kill the sky-reaching beast saint. Do you know if the sky-reaching demon saint is in the cave? Ling Xiao smiled indifferently, his expression incomparably calm. He had originally planned to snatch the sky-piercing demon sage's treasures and perhaps spare his life. However, after seeing the sky-piercing demon sage's actions, he was completely enraged. What? Kill the sky-reaching demon saint? After hearing Ling Xiao's words, everyone was stunned. Benefactor, you are indeed very strong. However, the sky-reaching demon saint had already broken through the limit once and reached heaven-reaching level 3. His strength was extremely terrifying. I'm afraid, Xiao Shan said worriedly. Although he did not finish his sentence, his meaning was clear. He did not believe that Ling Xiao was a match for Skyreach Demon Saint. You only need to tell me the whereabouts of the heavenly demon saint. I have my own arrangements for the rest. Ling Xiao said calmly. Benefactor, the sky-reaching demon saint is on the highest mountain of heaven-reaching island. The heavenly palace there is where he secludes himself. However, since you've killed so many of his subordinates, even if you don't go looking for him, I'm afraid he will soon come looking for you. Xiao Shan laughed bitterly in his heart when he saw how stubborn Ling Xiao was, but he still spoke seriously. The heavenly palace? Good. Many thanks. Everyone, please leave heaven-reaching island quickly. I'm afraid this place will soon become a land of trouble. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. Then, he instantly soared into the sky and flew towards the depths of heaven-reaching island with Feng Qingyang and the others. Benefactor is really going to kill the sky-reaching demon saint? But it seems like Benefactor is only an 8th revolution half-saint. How can he possibly be a match for the sky-reaching demon saint? Then what should we do? If the sky-reaching demon saint kills Benefactor, I'm afraid he won't let us off. After Ling Xiao left, many experts of the human race asked in bewilderment. Perhaps Benefactor really has a chance of killing the sky-reaching demon saint. Xiao Shan suddenly said, a trace of light flashing in his eyes. What do you mean, Elder Xiao? Everyone couldn't help but be shocked and hurriedly ask. Xiao Shan's prestige was very high among them. Although they were very puzzled by his words, they couldn't help but believe him. Benefactor is indeed an 8th revolution half-saint, but do you see that silver-armored youth behind Benefactor? If I'm not wrong, that silver-armored youth is a 3rd-level Heaven Treader super expert. Xiao Shan said solemnly. What? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Super experts at the 3rd-level Heaven Treader level were all geniuses. They could dominate an area in the ancient Chaos lands. Like the sky-reaching demon saint, they possessed countless great opportunities. Xiao Shan said that the silver-armored youth was a 3rd-level Heaven Treader super expert and had followed Ling Xiao. This made them feel like it was unreal. Benefactor, to have a 3rd-level Heaven Treader super expert following you, I'm afraid you're not as simple as you seem on the surface. I'm going to take a look at the heavenly palace. If Benefactor can kill the sky-reaching demon saint, it'll be a great fortune for the human race. Xiao Shan said seriously. What if he can't kill the sky-reaching demon saint? Someone asked. If that's the case, we'll just die. If the sky-reaching demon saint isn't dead, we won't be able to escape his pursuit no matter where we run. In that case, why don't we trust Benefactor this time? Xiao Shan said seriously. All right, I'll go take a look too. When a man dies, his bird faces the sky. Damn it, I also believe in Benefactor. Everyone was a little excited. Xiao Shan was right. If Ling Xiao could kill the sky-reaching demon saint, it would be a great fortune for all of them. If he couldn't kill the sky-reaching demon saint, they would undoubtedly die regardless of whether they fled or not. Under Xiao Shan's lead, everyone flew toward the depths of Ingress Island. They wanted to witness a great battle with their own eyes. At the center of Ingress Island was a huge mountain more than 100,000 feet tall. It towered into the chaotic mist, majestic, ancient, mysterious, and extraordinary. The mountain was covered by countless towering ancient trees that contained incomparably pure energy waves. It seemed to be full of exotic flowers and plants, waterfalls, and springs. It was like a paradise. At the top of the mountain was an incomparably majestic palace. It looked as beautiful as the heavenly palace. A huge flag was planted beside it, with 4 flamboyant words fluttering between heaven and earth. Chapter 2092. Qingyang, you go and challenge them. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he stared at the heavenly palace. He could sense many powerful auras within the Heavenspan Palace, as well as towering demonic auras. Even outside the Heavenspan Palace, there were numerous demon-folk experts standing guard, their eyes cold and murderous. Ling Xiao and the others didn't hide their auras and appeared above the heavenly palace. Who dares to trespass into the heavenly palace? A cold voice rang out. In an instant, the void trembled. 4 powerful auras shot out from the Tongtian Palace, enveloped in monstrous demonic qi, blocking Ling Xiao and the others. They were 4 burly men. They wore black armor and held different weapons. Their eyes were cold and their auras were monstrous. They were like experts who walked out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. They were filled with killing intent. Their cultivation was at the peak of the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Feng Qingyang sneered and said, "Ask the sky-piercing demon saint to come out. You 4 pieces of trash dare to stop me?" Feng Qingyang's silver armor emitted a dazzling light. His hair was thick and lustrous. His eyes were blazing like lightning. He held a silver spear in his hand and emitted a terrifying aura. The 4 burly men couldn't help but change their expressions. "You're Feng Qingyang." The 4 men were the 4 great generals under the command of the sky-reaching demon saint. At this moment, they also recognized Feng Qingyang. "Feng Qingyang, you are just a defeated opponent of our Lord. Our Lord spared your life back then. Today, you dare to provoke us? Do you want to die?" A burly man with a tiger pattern on his forehead said coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. "Cut the crap. I came here today to destroy your heavenly palace. If the 4 of you know what's good for you, kneel and beg for mercy. Otherwise, I will destroy your souls." Feng Qingyang sneered and pointed his spear at the 4 generals. A powerful aura burst out from his body. Although he wasn't Ling Zhao's match, he wasn't the slightest bit afraid when facing 4 9 Revolution half-saints as an extreme powerhouse of the 3rd level of heaven treading. "Destroy my heavenly palace? You really have a big mouth. Since you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame us. Brothers, capture this brat, skin him alive, and throw him into the Divine Dragon Cave." The burly man with the tiger stripes on his forehead revealed a trace of killing intent in his eyes as he instantly roared. Rumble! A huge black tiger appeared behind him. It was shrouded in blazing divine light and emanated a baleful aura, causing the void to tremble violently. The other 3 burly men also roared furiously. Their voices shook the clouds, and the phantoms of black leopards, black jackals, and black wolves appeared behind them. The sound waves of their roars spread out, shaking the world. The 4 great generals rushed towards Feng Qingyang at the same time. They knew that Feng Qingyang was powerful, so they used their strongest attacks. Moreover, there was an incomparably mysterious connection between them. Runes spread out and intertwined, causing their power to stack and multiply. The power of a battle formation? Even if you have a battle formation, you still have to die. Feng Qingyang's eyes flashed like lightning. The silver spear in his hand instantly shot across the sky. A mighty saint aura erupted, forming tens of thousands of spear shadows in the void. Each strike had the power to pierce through the void. Rumble! Divine light exploded in the sky, and demonic aura filled the air. A fierce battle between the four great generals and Feng Qingyang began. Ling Xiao didn't pay attention to the four great generals. Although they were strong, they weren't worthy of his attention. Ling Xiao's gaze was fixed on the heavenly palace. He could feel that there was an expert with a monstrous demonic aura in the heavenly palace. He was far stronger than the four great generals. He was like a blazing sun, blooming with majestic pressure. That should be the sky-piercing demon saint. However, for some reason, the sky-piercing demon saint didn't come out from the heavenly palace. His aura wasn't as strong as Ling Xiao imagined. He was only slightly stronger than Feng Qingyang, and even weaker than Hua Ziang. Since you don't want to come out, I'll invite you out. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, the qi and blood in his body condensed. Runes filled his palm, and the flipping sky seal flew across the void like an Archean sacred mountain. It emitted a monstrous aura and suppressed the heavenly palace. How dare you? How dare you disrespect the heavenly palace? Kill him without mercy. The experts of the demon clan were furious when they saw that Ling Xiao dared to attack the heavenly palace. Their aura rose, and they rushed toward the flipping sky seal. Suppress. Ling Xiao uttered a word. In an instant, the aura of the flipping sky seal became extremely terrifying. It was like hundreds of millions of stars were falling, and the experts of the demon clan in front of it were blasted into a mist of blood. It seemed that no one could stop the flipping sky seal. Finally, the flipping sky seal fell on the heavenly palace. Kacha! The void trembled violently, and endless divine light burst out, shaking the entire sky. The heavenly palace emitted a dazzling light, and the runes lit up. They intertwined to form a vast array, blocking the flipping sky seal from falling. However, the power of the flipping sky seal was too terrifying. In the end, the array could not withstand the flipping sky seal's attack. The runes exploded, and the array was broken. Half of the heavenly palace was destroyed. Ling Xiao saw the scene in the heavenly palace. A black-robed young man with a protruding mouth, monkey-like cheeks, and shifty-eyed eyes looked cruel and bloodthirsty. However, his face was covered with frost and murderous intent. His anger seemed to be able to burn the heavens and destroy the earth. His body emitted blazing qi and blood, which turned into intertwining flames of the great path. There was an ancient alchemy furnace in front of him, and countless mysterious scenes appeared on it. Traces of medicinal fragrance seeped out from it, accompanied by a mysterious chant of the great path. It was as if a supreme elixir was about to be formed. Ling Xiao was sure at a glance that the black-robed young man was the sky-reaching demon saint. What he didn't expect was that the sky-piercing demon saint was actually hiding in the sky-piercing palace to refine pills. Moreover, when he saw the mysterious pill runes appear in the furnace and transform into 7 mysterious rays of light, Ling Xiao instantly understood that the sky-piercing demon saint was refining a 7th-grade sacred pill. You're disturbing me while I'm refining elixirs. You deserve to die. The sky-reaching demon saint's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He glared at Ling Xiao, and then the divine light around him blazed. Demonic qi rose, and an extremely terrifying aura burst out. Ling Xiao's eyes were also filled with a strong fighting spirit. He also wanted to experience just how strong the ultimate powerhouse of the demon clan was. The sky-reaching demon saint instantly put away the alchemy furnace in front of him, and then stared at Ling Xiao as if he wanted to remember him. Then, he turned and fled into the distance. He actually fled without a fight. Chapter 2093. Ling Xiao didn't expect the infamous sky-piercing demon saint to be so cowardly. He turned around and fled after saying those words. Where do you think you're going? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed like lightning. Blazing divine light rose around him as he used a secret teleportation technique. Light flashed beneath his feet and he instantly appeared tens of thousands of feet away. He blocked the sky-piercing demon saint's path and punched out. His chi and blood surged into the sky as lightning blazed. Ling Zhao's punch was unparalleled, like a supreme star in the 9 heavens. It contained unparalleled divine might. Bastard, you're courting death. The sky-piercing demon saint was enraged. A cruel and bloodthirsty light shot out from his pea-sized eyes. His fingers were like sharp eagle claws, containing the power to pierce through everything. He clawed at Ling Zhao's chest. Boom! The void trembled violently as Ling Zhao's fist landed on the sky-piercing demon saint's claws. The sky shook and the earth quaked. Terrifying sound waves spread out as the sky-piercing demon saint was sent flying by Ling Zhao's punch. What? The sky-piercing demon saint's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. He felt an earth-shattering force coming at him, making him feel like he couldn't fight back. Rumble! After Ling Zhao sent the Tongtian demon saint flying with a single punch, the blazing chi and blood around him rose like lightning. Fist after fist landed on the Tongtian demon saint, filling the sky with afterimages. It was as if he wanted to smash the Tongtian demon saint into dust. Damn it, do you really think I'm afraid of you? The sky-piercing demon saint's eyes were extremely cold. Demonic chi rose around him as vast saint aura filled the air. A ferocious aura was awakened from his body. He leaped into the sky, his claws shining with golden light. His aura skyrocketed as he clawed at Ling Zhao. There was a loud rumble in the void as the fist after fist exploded. The sky-piercing demon saint's murderous aura filled the sky. His attacks were extremely ruthless as he targeted Ling Zhao's vital points. Boom! Suddenly, beams of blazing light shot toward Ling Zhao from the divine light that filled the sky. They were extremely fast, like sharp swords that could pierce through everything. The golden light was like some kind of hair, but also like golden needles, making it difficult for Ling Zhao to dodge. In an instant he was shot on his body. Ling Zhao's divine body shield was directly pierced, and then he was shot like a hedgehog. Die! The killing intent in sky-reaching demon saint's eyes was almost tangible. A sharp scimitar appeared in his hand and he chopped down at Ling Zhao's head. Rumble! However, when the demon saint approached Ling Zhao, a sliver of mockery appeared in Ling Zhao's eyes. Blazing light erupted around him, causing the golden light to tremble violently before shooting back towards the demon saint with even greater speed. Ling Zhao held the flipping sky seal in his hand and smashed it towards the demon saint's head. It turned out that although the golden light had shot into Ling Zhao's body, Ling Zhao's physical body was extremely strong. He caught the golden light with his muscles and at the same time, he beat the demon saint at his own game and deflected it back. This attack was beyond the demon saint's expectations, especially the terrifying sharpness of the flipping sky seal. It made his scalp tingle. Rumble! The sky-reaching demon saint shone with blazing light. Runes rose up and blocked all the golden light. Then, the golden light trembled slightly and instantly fused into the sky-reaching demon saint's body. The scimitar in the demon saint's hand was obviously a supreme treasure. It collided with the flipping sky seal, causing the void to tremble violently as divine light shot out in all directions. The sky-reaching demon saint was sent flying. His body trembled violently and his eyes were filled with shock. This is a supreme holy treasure? The demon saint's voice trembled as he revealed an extremely greedy expression. The power of a supreme holy treasure was extremely terrifying. If a half-saint could unleash the power of a supreme holy treasure, he could even kill a saint with it. If the flipping sky seal fell into the demon saint's hands, his strength would definitely increase greatly. You're about to die, yet you still dare to covet my treasure? You're really courting death. Ling Zhao sneered. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Rumble! He pushed out his arms. Blazing flames rose and the great Tao precepts descended like divine chains of order. In an instant, they bound the demon saint. A blazing Yen Emperor cauldron appeared in the void and began to refine the demon saint. A vast dragon's roar erupted. It contained an extremely powerful sound wave divine power. In an instant, the demon saint in the Yen Emperor cauldron blacked out and his entire body trembled. The flames of the great path wrapped around him as if they wanted to burn him to ashes. "Open for me!" the demon saint roared. In an instant, the surrounding void trembled violently. A milky white jade slip appeared in his hand. It looked crystal clear as if it contained the mysteries of the heavens. The jade slip flew out. It contained a power fluctuation that could destroy everything. The Yen Emperor cauldron that Ling Xiao had transformed from the fighting heaven's skill exploded when it touched the jade slip. It was as if it had been directly cut open by a sharp blade. The crack was very smooth. Then, runes rose and turned into a bright light. When Ling Xiao saw that piece of jade, he couldn't help but tremble all of a sudden. "This is a fragment of the good fortune jade disc?" Ling Xiao's gaze instantly became incomparably sharp. He had never thought that he would actually come across a fragment of the jade disc of fortune in the hands of a demon saint. Ling Xiao possessed a fragment of the jade disc of fortune. Although he was still unable to use the jade disc of fortune with his current cultivation, the jade disc of fortune had saved his life at a critical moment. Ling Xiao knew how powerful and terrifying the good fortune jade disc was. Therefore, he had been searching for the fragments of the good fortune jade disc all these years. However, he had not been able to find it. Now that he saw the fragment of the good fortune jade disc in the demon saint's hands, Ling Xiao was both shocked and excited. He had to get the fragment of the good fortune jade disc no matter what. Ling Xiao made up his mind instantly. Rumble. Translator, Transin editor, Transin the flipping sky seal emitted a blazing divine light and pressed down on the demon saint. Chaotic chi rose around Ling Xiao and his mighty fist intent exploded once again. He punched out and it was as if he could open up 3,000 worlds and dominate the starry sky. He was invincible. Get lost. Chapter 2094. At that moment, a mysterious aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. A full moon rose from Ling Xiao's palm, intertwined with Tao and truth, containing the power of the laws. It was bright and dazzling as it flew toward Tong Tian Demon Saint. Tong Tian Demon Saint continued to attack with the fragment of the good fortune jade disc. However, his expression changed when he saw the fragment vibrate violently. In the next moment, it flew out of Tong Tian Demon Saint's hand and merged with the full moon. Rumble. The full moon emitted a blazing light. Endless chaotic fog filled the air and the sky shook. In the next moment, it flew back into Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao immediately took out the good fortune jade disc and forcibly took back the fragment in Tong Tian Demon Saint's hand. Rumble. At the same time, Ling Xiao's invincible heavenly emperor fist descended. It was as if a vast fist imprint came from all directions. Tong Tian Demon Saint had no way of resisting and could only take it head-on. The fist was invincible. It directly penetrated Tong Tian Demon Saint's chest, leaving a trail of blood in the void. Damn it! What kind of treasure is that? Boy, I won't let you off. Tong Tian Demon Saint's eyes were filled with shock. He never thought that the fragment of the good fortune jade disc in his hand would be taken back by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's attack was so fierce that he had no way of dodging it. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. He didn't answer Tong Tian Demon Saint. His fist imprints were unparalleled. Every strike had the power to destroy heaven and earth. The heavenly emperor fist was ferocious and domineering. Ling Xiao's supreme physical strength was unleashed to the extreme. Boom. Although Tong Tian Demon Saint tried his best to defend himself, he couldn't withstand such a terrifying attack. In the end, his body trembled violently and he exploded into a bloody mist. Buzz. An ancient pill furnace flew out of Tong Tian Demon Saint's body. It spun and contained an extremely mysterious aura. Ling Xiao instantly caught it in his hand. Lord Demon Saint is dead? The experts of the demon clan in the heavenly palace were stunned. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Even the four generals, Tiger, leopard, jackal, and wolf, trembled when they saw this scene. They were extremely shocked and furious. This caused a flaw to appear in the battle formation between the four of them. Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up. He grasped this flaw. He immediately, the silver spear in his hand, piercing General Black Wolf's forehead. He Qingyang's primordial spirit. The eyes of the other three generals instantly turned red, but no matter how much power they unleashed, the gap between them and Feng Qingyang was too big. Moreover, without the cooperation of General He Lang, the three of them quickly fell into a disadvantageous position. In the end, none of them managed to escape and were all killed by Feng Qingyang. Throughout the entire Heavenspan Palace, many Demon Clan experts lost their will to fight and surrendered. There. Benefactor really killed the sky-piercing demon saint. Our savior is invincible. He'll become the chosen one. I believe in our savior too. If he can kill Tongtian demon saint, he'll be able to defeat all the geniuses when he reaches the third level of heaven treading. Xiao Shan and the others who came with Ling Xiao were also very excited. Their eyes were filled with excitement. The image of Ling Xiao killing Tongtian demon saint was deeply imprinted in their hearts. They would never forget it for the rest of their lives. At this moment, their gratitude and admiration for Ling Xiao had reached a point where it could not be any higher. This is only a clone of Tongtian demon saint? What a mysterious doppelganger technique. Even I was almost fooled by it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He didn't sense any damage to Tongtian demon saint's primordial spirit. He immediately realized that the Tongtian demon saint he killed was only a clone. No wonder he felt it was so easy to kill Tongtian demon saint. It was even easier than defeating Hua Ziang. It turned out that it wasn't the real Tongtian demon saint in front of him. He's using a clone to refine pills? No wonder he fled as soon as he saw me. This cauldron of pills is probably anything but simple. Tongtian demon saint must have lost his mind from anger now that it's ended up in my hands. Ling Xiao smiled as he talked to himself. His eyes were filled with a strange look. Boom! He gently opened the cauldron. Immediately, flames surged out from the cauldron. 3 resplendent, mysterious pills charged out. They possessed extremely powerful spirituality as if they were about to charge out. Ling Xiao was already prepared. A huge palm descended from the sky and directly grabbed the 3 pills in its hand. The 3 elixirs were dazzling with golden light, as if they were cast from gold. There were ancient and mysterious patterns on the surface of the elixirs, and a mysterious medicinal fragrance permeated the air, causing the surrounding Demon Clan experts to involuntarily shudder. They swallowed their saliva, and their eyes were filled with incomparable desire. Ling Xiao, what treasure have you found? Feng Qingyang also rushed over excitedly and asked curiously. If I've guessed correctly, this is probably the legendary golden pill of longevity. Ling Xiao said seriously. His eyes were filled with shock. Golden pill of longevity? Is it the golden elixir of longevity that was said in ancient times to be able to control one's own fate after swallowing a golden elixir, and to immediately become a saint? Feng Qingyang was also shocked. His eyes were filled with disbelief. That's right. It's exactly the golden pill of longevity that you've imagined. However, the golden pill of longevity has been lost since ancient times. After all, the longevity grass is too rare. I didn't expect the Tongtian demon saint to be proficient in alchemy. He really did use the longevity grass to refine these 3 golden pills of longevity. However, his level is not up to par. He should be able to refine a 9th grade divine pill, but he could barely refine a 7th grade divine pill. Ling Xiao said slowly. No wonder he ran away as soon as he saw us. He wanted to protect the golden pill of longevity. It wasn't easy for the Tongtian demon saint to refine the golden pill of longevity. Now it's ours. If he knows about it, he'll definitely vomit blood. Feng Qingyang chuckled. His face was filled with joy. I'll give you one of the 3 golden pills of longevity. I'll use the rest to heal my injuries. I'm afraid the Tongtian demon saint's true body won't let this go. I really want to see how strong his true body is if his doppelganger is already so strong. Chapter 2095. The Longevity Golden Elixir was an ancient sacred elixir that used the longevity grass as its main ingredient. It could even be refined into a grade 9 sacred elixir that could extend one's life by 1,000,000 years. Although the Tongtian demon saint had only refined a grade 7 sacred elixir, it was still very precious. Ling Xiao could feel that 2 longevity golden elixirs were enough to completely restore his cultivation base. If Feng Qingyang wanted to condense into a human sovereign, he would also need a large amount of life essence. This longevity golden elixir could save Feng Qingyang a few decades of hard work. Let's leave Tongtian Island first. You killed the Tongtian demon saint's clone and stole his longevity golden elixir. I'm afraid he'll be back soon. Feng Qingyang said slowly to Ling Xiao. You guys go back to the human race's holy city first. I need to find a place to cultivate and use the longevity golden elixir to heal. I'll return to the human race's holy city after I come out of seclusion. Before that, don't get into a conflict with the Tongtian demon saint. Ling Xiao said, Okay, be careful. The human race's holy city is not far from here. This is the human race token. You can find me at the Qingyang Pavilion when you arrive. Feng Qingyang nodded and handed Ling Xiao a token that was filled with chaotic colors. The word, human, was engraved on it in ancient seal script. Okay. Ling Xiao put away the human race token and flew into the distance. Let's go too. I have a feeling that the situation in the human race's holy city will change when Ling Xiao comes out of seclusion. Feng Qingyang said slowly as he stared at Ling Xiao's back. There was a hint of emotion in his eyes. The situation in the human race's holy city will change? I'm afraid that's impossible. The strength of the sky prides of each race is extremely terrifying. They are all super experts in the 3 heavens treading realm, especially our heavenly prince. It's even rumored that he has reached the 3 heavens realm. Moreover, he doesn't seem to have a good impression of Ling Xiao. One of Feng Qingyang's followers said in disbelief. Hee, let's wait and see. Feng Qingyang didn't explain. He just smiled. Feng Qingyang left Tongtian Island with a few of his followers and headed towards the human race's saint city. After obtaining a golden elixir of longevity, Feng Qingyang planned to cultivate in seclusion and strive to reach the human sovereign realm, the holy city of the human race. The Heavenly Curse Palace was the residence of the Heavenly Curse sect's disciples. It was majestic and majestic. It was heavily guarded with powerful rune formations. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to approach it. In the Heavenly Curse Palace, a black-robed young man with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks and a young man with double pupils sat opposite each other, chatting happily. Suddenly, the black-robed youth with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks stood up. The aura around him was extremely violent, and his eyes revealed monstrous fury and killing intent. You killed my doppelganger and stole my golden elixir of immortality. I will kill you. The black-robed young man roared furiously. His killing intent seemed to have materialized. Brother Tongan, who is so bold as to kill your clone and steal your golden elixir of longevity? The young man with double pupils in his eyes wore a white robe. He looked extraordinary and handsome. Mysterious symbols filled his eyes, and Tao and truth intertwined around him. He looked extremely mysterious. The young man with double pupils was the holy son of the Heavenly Curse sect, Mu Yuan. At this moment, Mu Yuan's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. The Tongtian demon saint's strength was extremely terrifying. He had already condensed into a human sovereign, and was not far from the second Earth realm. Although his doppelganger wasn't as strong as his original body, one would need to be at least at the third Earth realm to kill his doppelganger. His name is Ling Xiao. He's with that bastard Feng Qingyang. He's only an 8th revolution half-saint. The Tongtian demon saint said coldly. The killing intent around him surged and bloomed with dazzling light. What? An 8th revolution half-saint? Mu Yuan's eyes flashed. He was completely shocked. Mu Yuan found it unbelievable that an 8th revolution half-saint could kill the Tongtian demon saint's doppelganger. He was very curious about this person called Ling Xiao. Although he's called Ling Xiao, I can recognize him. He used the heavenly battle skill, and the treasure in his hand is the flipping sky seal. He should be Long Outyen. The Tongtian demon saint said coldly. Long Outyen? It seems like he's not dead. Although Saint Hua Xiong and Marshal Uncle Chen announced it to the public, they also guessed that Long Outyen was still alive. He should have entered the chaotic ancient land. In that case, I'll deal with this kid personally. Mu Yuan said indifferently. There was a trace of strange sharpness in his eyes. The double pupils in his eyes were as dazzling as the stars. They were hazy with chaotic light and contained a power that could see through people's hearts. The Tongtian demon saint showed a trace of fear in his eyes. He knew how powerful Mu Yuan was. The double pupils in his eyes were a peerless superpower that he had cultivated. Once activated, it had the power to destroy the world. Mu Yuan and the Tongtian demon saint had the same cultivation, but no one had seen his real combat strength. Alright, Brother Mu, this Long Outyen is dead for sure. Moreover, I suspect that Long Outyen has many fortunes on him. After we kill him, we'll split the fortunes on him. The Tongtian demon saint said coldly. Chaotic Star Island. In a huge mountain range at the bottom of the sea, Ling Xiao opened up a cave abode and hid inside to heal his injuries. His primordial spirit, heart force, and Tao origin were all severely injured. He didn't know how long it would take for him to fully recover. However, these 2 golden longevity pills gave Ling Xiao hope. I hope the golden longevity pills won't disappoint me. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the cave abode. The golden longevity pills in his palm were buzzing and trembling. They were dazzling and intertwined with the mysterious power of laws. They were full of spirituality, as if they wanted to escape from Ling Xiao's palm. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with anticipation. Then he swallowed the golden longevity pills. Rumble! The golden longevity pills melted the moment they entered his mouth. Like a vast flood, they instantly surged toward Ling Xiao's limbs and bones and exploded. That was the purest life essence. It contained the power of the origin of life. It surged like a vast ocean and started to heal Ling Xiao's injuries. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by a dazzling light. His aura started to strengthen slowly, and all kinds of mysterious avatars formed behind him. Chapter 2096. Boom. Ling Xiao's aura became more and more mysterious. The runes around his body intertwined like divine chains of order. The vast laws of heaven and earth descended, making him seem like the embodiment of the great Tao. Mysterious chanting sounded around Ling Xiao, like the prayers of the ancient people. It contained ancient and majestic energy fluctuations. The mysterious chanting seemed to form a resonance with Ling Xiao's breathing, causing endless life essence to merge into his body. In his sea of consciousness, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was incomparably dim. There were even cracks on his primordial spirit. It had been severely injured. However, as the life essence merged into his primordial spirit, the cracks gradually disappeared. His primordial spirit also began to become sparkling and clear. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit sat cross-legged in his sea of consciousness. The life essence around him condensed into blazing stars, forming a vast galaxy. His primordial spirit inhaled and exhaled the essence of heaven and earth. The galaxy around him flickered as if it had converged into a divine light storm, merging all the life energy into his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's bones were sparkling as if they were cast in gold. Runes similar to dragon scales appeared on them, exuding a majestic dragon's aura. His flesh and blood exuded a faint fragrance. His meridians were like dragons. When they trembled slightly, it was like a dragon's roar. His blood surged like a great river. Under the effect of the longevity golden elixir, Ling Xiao's injuries rapidly healed. His aura also became more vigorous and majestic. Gotcha! Suddenly, Ling Xiao felt as if there was a barrier in his body that made a crisp sound. His cultivation was already at the 8th revolution semi-sage realm, but he had recovered from his serious injuries this time. And this had allowed his cultivation to reach the critical point of a breakthrough. As the saying goes, destruction is followed by re-establishment. Ling Xiao felt the aura of the barrier loosening. His body began to emit a blazing light. Rumble. Mysterious lightning crackled in the surrounding space. Cracks began to appear on Ling Xiao's perfect body. Thick strands of tribulation chi seeped out of his body. The 9th nirvana tribulation had descended. With the help of the longevity golden pellet, not only did Ling Xiao's cultivation recover, it even allowed him to break through the peak of the 8th revolution half-saint realm and reach the 9th revolution half-saint realm. The rebirth tribulation was a type of tribulation that came from the inside out, and it was a test of the Grand Tao. Through rebirth, one would be able to fuse even more with the Grand Tao and eliminate the flaws in one's body before finally attaining a perfect state. The terrifying nirvana tribulation descended, and Ling Xiao's physical body began to crumble. His primordial spirit began to shatter, and the saint energy in his body began to dissipate. Even his heart force gradually collapsed. The 9th nirvana tribulation was incomparably ferocious, as if it was even more terrifying than the previous 8 nirvana tribulations that Ling Xiao had experienced. To Ling Xiao, it was a kind of comprehensive nirvana and rebirth. Ling Xiao could feel the danger of this nirvana tribulation. Before his physical body was completely destroyed, he instantly swallowed the 2nd golden elixir of longevity. Rumble. Blazing light rose from his body, and the void shook. His physical body was like a broken porcelain, with cracks appearing on it. Resplendent light gushed out, and in the end, his body suddenly exploded. Not only his physical body, but also his primordial spirit and the Grand Tao origin in his body exploded, turning into the most fundamental particles. However, they did not completely disperse, and still maintained the appearance of a human, looking incomparably mysterious. The tribulation aura filled the air, and the vast power of the Grand Tao descended, as if it wanted to completely obliterate all the vitality in Ling Xiao's body. It contained an incomparably terrifying destructive power. Ling Xiao's body trembled, as if he was enduring endless pain. Light surged around his body, and his vitality gradually weakened, like a candle flame in the wind, which could be extinguished at any time. Ling Xiao guarded his mind, and while he was undergoing the nirvana tribulation, he absorbed the majestic energy of the golden elixir of longevity at the same time. The golden elixir of longevity was like a small sun, blooming with resplendent light at the location of Ling Xiao's heart. As the essence of life poured into the particles of Ling Xiao's aura also slowly condensed. It was like a change from the inside out, and the void shook. Lightning blazed around Ling Xiao's body, and the Grand Tao intertwined, and divine light shone brightly. He seemed to have walked out of the void, and his physical body began to reform. Rumble. Mysterious lightning intertwined, and Ling Xiao's physical body and primordial spirit reformed. The void around him shook, and an incomparably majestic aura fluctuated around him. His entire aura reached its peak in an instant. Is this the 9th revolution half-saint realm? Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes, and 2 divine lights pierced through the void as he muttered to himself. Ling Xiao could feel that there was an incomparably mysterious shackle in his body. As long as he broke that shackle and passed the divine tribulation, he would be able to prove his Tao and become a saint. A 9th revolution half-saint was already considered to be standing at the peak of the half-saint realm. He could prove his Tao and become a saint at any time. However, Ling Xiao didn't plan to prove his Tao and become a saint just like that. He had an ambition. He wanted to break the limit 3 times and reach the peak of the 3 heaven-treading realms. Then, he would prove his Tao and become an invincible saint. Ling Xiao had absolute confidence that he wouldn't be weaker than anyone. Whether it was the saints of the immortal sacred grounds, the geniuses of the monarch clans, or even the ancient heavens prides, Ling Xiao was confident that he could surpass them one by one. Ling Xiao's body was sparkling like jade, and a vast dragon's aura emanated from his body. He was like a humanoid divine dragon. The blood in his body surged, and it was vast and boundless, containing an incomparably majestic power. Golden light seeped out of his body, making him appear incomparably mysterious. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his white robes were whiter than snow. His eyes were bright and mysterious, and a chaotic aura rose around him. He was like a young great emperor, possessing an invincible aura. It was as if every move he made had the power to suppress the world. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out, and a series of explosive sounds came from the void. The incomparably hard boulder in front of him suddenly exploded. Ling Xiao exuded an incomparably vast aura. He took a step forward, and the boundless water around him exploded. He instantly appeared in the chaotic Star Island domain. The 2 golden longevity pills had not only completely healed Ling Xiao's injuries, but they had also allowed his cultivation to advance to the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Let's go to the humans' holy city first. Then I'll go to the fiends' holy city. I need Shui Wei, the white dragon horse, and the Kuan Peng. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he stared into the distance and muttered to himself. Whoosh! Chapter 2097. It was surrounded by ancient and resplendent stars. Chaotic fog filled the air, and divine light seemed to be blooming in the void. Auspicious air rose, making this mysterious region appear extremely peaceful. A giant city that was over 1,000,000 feet tall floated in the starry sky. It was over 1,000,000 miles wide, like an ancient continent. It was grand and majestic. The city walls were glowing. They were cast from bronze and were branded with extremely mysterious runes. Although they looked a little mottled and were filled with the vicissitudes of time, no one could deny their status. The human race's holy city was also one of the 108 holy cities in the entire chaotic ancient land. Ling Xiao stood in front of the human race's holy city and stared at it. His eyes were filled with emotions. Anyone who saw the human race's holy city would feel grand and majestic, and they would feel insignificant. He wondered what kind of existence could create such a grand and majestic human race's holy city. Ling Xiao had traveled over 1,000,000 miles from the chaotic Star Island domain to reach the human race's holy city. Although he had expected this, the scene before him still shocked him. The gates of the human race's holy city were currently open. Many experts were lining up to enter the city. Compared to the huge human race's holy city, they were like ants. A group of soldiers in tattered armor and holding broken weapons stood on both sides of the gate. Every single one of them had a powerful aura and a surging baleful aura. Their eyes were filled with cold and sharp gazes as they scanned the people entering the city. These people were the enforcers of the human race's holy city. These enforcers were the experts who had remained in the chaotic ancient land. They had reproduced in the chaotic ancient land and called themselves a tribe. They were also known as the natives of the chaotic ancient land. For example, the rock spirit tribe that Ling Xiao had encountered previously were the natives of the chaotic ancient land. Ling Xiao joined the queue and prepared to enter the city. Hiss, hiss. Suddenly, the sound of horses neighing could be heard in the void. The void trembled, and the sound of thousands of horses galloping could be heard. It caused the sky to shake and instantly attracted everyone's attention. Ling Xiao saw 9 steeds flying through the air. On the backs of the horses sat 9 powerful warriors in black armor. Their faces were covered by the armor, and their strength was unparalleled. Their eyes were cold and sharp, and their bodies were surrounded by a murderous aura. Those 9 steeds were ancient variant breeds, and they looked extremely handsome. Their entire bodies were snow white without a trace of impurities, and their bodies were suffused with mysterious spatial fluctuations as if they could travel through space. The 9 warriors rode on white horses, and each of them had prey behind them. It was as if they had gone through a fierce battle, causing their auras to become incomparably violent. This is the Pegasus of the Pegasus race. No, it's not a purebred Pegasus, it's just an ancient variant with the Pegasus bloodline. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he stared at the mounts of the 9 warriors. The 9 divine cavalry is back. Looks like they've had a great harvest this time. I wonder what treasures they've found this time? Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with awe and respect. 9 divine cavalry? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and he only understood when he heard the discussion around him. It turned out that the 9 divine cavalry were formed from the experts of 9 different clans. Even the weakest amongst them possessed a cultivation at the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint realm. It was even to the extent that some people said that the eldest and second eldest of the 9 divine cavalry were already extraordinary experts at the 3rd level of heaven trampling. The 9 divine cavalry were usually extremely domineering. Although it had only been 3 years since they entered the chaotic ancient land, the 9 divine cavalry were already very famous. Who knew how many experts had died at their hands? Moreover, the 9 divine cavalry were extremely adventurous, and they often left the human race's holy city to explore secret realms and dangerous places. They obtained fortune and opportunities from there, which allowed their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. The 9 divine cavalry could be considered to be very famous in the human race's holy city, so everyone recognized them instantly. Rumble! The 9 divine horsemen came together. The 9 heavenly horses were extremely divine, and their fur was incomparably pure white. The 9 of them were all wearing black armor that covered their entire bodies, only revealing pairs of incomparably cold eyes. The murderous aura around them was monstrous. As soon as they arrived at the gate, everyone immediately felt an overwhelming pressure, as if they could not breathe. At this moment, the 9 divine cavalry suddenly stopped beside Ling Xiao. You have the aura of a Pegasus on you. Or you. One of the experts among the 9 divine cavalry stared at Ling Xiao and said condescendingly, "I don't know what you mean by Pegasus. If you want to leave, go to the back and line up. If you don't want to leave, then leave." Ling Xiao said indifferently, and his expression was very calm. His heart skipped a beat. He did not expect the 9 divine cavalry to be so mysterious. They actually felt the aura of a white dragon horse on him. Ling Xiao was sure that the aura of a Pegasus mentioned by the 9 divine cavalry must be the aura of a white dragon horse. "Kid, you're very arrogant. If you're arrogant without strength, you won't live long." The expert sneered, and his eyes overflowed with a trace of coldness. "I'm living very well. You don't have to worry about me. I'll say it again. If you want to enter the city, go to the back and line up." Ling Xiao said indifferently. Although everyone was very afraid of the 9 divine cavalry and made way for them to enter the city first, Ling Xiao did not give them any face. "Good boy, how dare you speak to the 9 divine cavalry like this? Do you want to die?" The expert's eyes were cold. The other 8 experts looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Powerful evil spirits and auras surged, suppressing Ling Xiao as if they wanted to force him to retreat. However, Ling Xiao's expression was as calm as usual. He sneered and said, "I've never heard of the 9 divine cavalry. Don't be noisy in front of me. If you want to die, then come at me." He could feel that the 9 divine cavalry looked at him with a trace of malice. Needless to say, it was for the aura left by the white dragon horse. Although the Pegasus of the 9 divine cavalry was an ancient variant, its bloodline was not pure. They probably felt the pure aura on Ling Xiao and wanted to get the white dragon horse. "You're courting death." The expert's eyes were filled with killing intent. A terrifying aura burst out from his body as if he was about to attack Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao looked very calm on the surface, the blood in his body was surging. He was ready to attack at any time. If the 9 divine cavalry were really reckless, he did not mind using the so-called 9 divine cavalry to establish his authority. "What do you want to do? This is the holy city of the human clan. If you dare to attack here, you'll be killed without mercy." At this moment, a cold voice sounded. More than a dozen law enforcers' eyes were like lightning. The aura around them rose, and they were holding ancient and broken weapons. They surrounded Ling Xiao and the 9 divine cavalry. "Law enforcers, you should have seen that they provoked us first." Chapter 2098. I don't care who is provoking you. You are not allowed to fight in the human race's holy city. Violators will be killed without mercy. Do you want to live or die? A captain of the enforcers sneered at Ling Xiao, his eyes cold and indifferent. His eyes were full of warning. Brother Lu, don't worry. We follow the rules. However, this person's background is unknown. I'm afraid he doesn't even have the human race's holy token. Brother Lu, you have to check carefully. The expert among the 9 divine knights sneered. I understand. Kid, if you want to enter the city, take out the human race's holy token. Otherwise, you are a spy of the demon race and will be killed without mercy. The captain of the enforcers said coldly. The surrounding enforcers were filled with murderous intent as they locked onto Ling Xiao. Oh no, oh no. This kid dares to offend the 9 divine knights? Looks like it will be difficult for him to escape. That's right. I heard that the 9 divine knights have a good relationship with the enforcers. They often offer precious treasures. This kid could offend anyone but the 9 divine knights? Isn't that so? The human race's holy token is very precious. It is not something that ordinary people can get. Only the geniuses of the immortal sacred grounds and the emperor race are qualified to get the human race's holy token. Ordinary people can only get an ordinary identity token at most. The crowd discussed fervently as they looked at Ling Xiao sympathetically. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold as he stared at the captain of the enforcers and said, Are you openly siding with them? Why don't you check their human race's holy token? The captain of the enforcers sneered and said, I am familiar with the 9 divine knights. There is no need to prove it. However, I am very suspicious of your identity because of your unknown background. If you can't take out your identity token, don't blame me for capturing you directly. You want the human race's holy token? Then open your dog eyes and see what this is. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with coldness. There was no expression on his face as a token that emitted a chaotic color appeared in his palm. It was the human race's holy token that Feng Qingyang gave him. This is the human race's holy token of the Taishang Palace? You are from the Taishang Palace? The captain of the enforcer's expression changed as he said with an ugly expression. He originally thought that Ling Xiao was just a lone cultivator, but he didn't expect Ling Xiao to have the human clan's sacred medallion from the supreme holy Ji Palace. The 12 immortal sacred grounds of the God realm were famous, and even in the human clan's sacred city, they had great power. Even the enforcers were inextricably linked to the 12 immortal holy lands. Someone from the supreme Dao Palace? No wonder he was so arrogant. However, even Feng Qingyang of the supreme Dao Palace has to be respectful in front of us. What right do you have to be so arrogant? Brat, don't let me catch you outside. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to return to the holy city alive. The expert among the 9 divine knights was named Xinjiu. At that moment, he did not hide the disdain in his eyes. Even though he knew that Ling Xiao was from the Taishang Holy Ji Palace, he still did not have the slightest bit of fear. He even directly threatened him, extremely arrogant and overbearing. You're right. Don't let me meet you outside. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the 9 divine cavalry will be removed from the list. Ling Xiao also said indifferently. His eyes were incomparably sharp and filled with traces of coldness. I'll be waiting. Xinjiu looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Then, the 9 divine knights instantly plunged into the holy city of the human tribe like a torrent. Don't create trouble in the holy city of the human tribe. Otherwise, even if you're a disciple of the Supreme Dao Palace, you won't be saved. The leader of the enforcers warned Ling Xiao again. Ling Xiao did not even look at him and ignored him directly. Then, he entered the holy city of the human tribe. The leader of the enforcers' eyes flashed coldly. He stared at Ling Xiao's back for a while and snorted coldly. He remembered Ling Xiao in his heart. The enforcers were the descendants of the indigenous people. Due to certain restrictions, they could not move freely like Ling Xiao and the other trial testers. The various treasures that they needed for cultivation required the trial testers to show filial piety and pay tribute. He had received many benefits from the 9 divine cavalry, but Ling Xiao was so arrogant that it caused a trace of resentment to grow in his heart. However, Ling Xiao ignored him. A mere leader of the enforcers was nothing in his eyes. After Ling Xiao entered the holy city of the human tribe, he prepared to look for Feng Qingyang. The holy city of the human tribe was incomparably huge. It was a huge, chaotic ancient city. The buildings were majestic and majestic. At this moment, the huge and wide streets were bustling with people. There were even small stalls hawking their wares. Earth dragon meat is on sale cheap. Only 10 origin pills per kilogram. It contains boundless life origin and can increase the strength of the physical body. 9-leaf Bodhi grass. It clears the heart and brightens the eyes. It can dispel inner demons. It can be refined into Bodhi pills. Only 20 origin pills. Single-horned rhinoceros buns. The skin is thin and the stuffing is big. 1 origin pill for 10. Supreme Holy Sword personally refined by Master Wang. Only 1,000 origin pills. Today, it's a gift to the fated person. Everyone, come and take a look. Ling Xiao stood in the holy city of the human race. Looking at the bustling streets and the cries of hawkers, he couldn't help but be stunned. It was as if he had entered a market in the mortal world. He couldn't get used to it for a moment. I didn't expect the Chosen One convention to attract so many people. Ling Xiao sighed in his heart. He could feel that these people were all trial takers like him. The aura of trial takers and aborigines were different. Ling Xiao could easily distinguish them. After all, the Chosen One convention swept across the heavens and myriad worlds. Countless heavens prides would enter and compete with each other. As long as one's cultivation was below the saint realm, they could enter the chaotic ancient land. Besides heaven's prides, there were also some supreme Tao masters who wanted to try their luck. Therefore, the vast chaotic ancient land was filled with all kinds of figures. Ling Xiao was about to find someone to inquire about the whereabouts of the Azure Sun Pavilion. Ling Xiao passed through the bustling streets and was about to find someone to ask about the direction of the Azure Sun Pavilion when his gaze was suddenly attracted by a familiar aura. Ling Xiao saw that among the hawkers, there was a middle-aged man in a shabby robe. He looked shifty and had a goatee. His eyes flashed with a cunning light. In front of him were many bottles and jars. Some were stained with mud and filled with an ancient aura. It was as if they had just been dug out from the ground. At this moment, the middle-aged man was trying his best to attract customers, making his stall seem very popular. The aura that attracted Ling Xiao came from the middle-aged man's stall. That's the aura of the good fortune jade disc. Chapter 2099. Ling Xiao walked towards the stall. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Taoist Huang He. I'm sure all the geniuses in the human saint city have heard of my name. In my hands, there are all kinds of treasures that I found in various forbidden areas and cave mansions. Some time ago, a young man bought an ancient book from me, and the result was that he comprehended a supreme heavenly art from it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a supreme heavenly skill that contains the power of the great Tao origin. It leads directly to the extreme Tao Emperor realm. Think about how great of an opportunity this is. The middle-aged man with the goatee was blowing his own trumpet, causing many people's faces to reveal a tempted expression. The forbidden land of the supreme emperors. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with shock. The supreme emperor's forbidden land was incomparably mysterious. It was a place where all life was forbidden. Legend had it that a supreme emperor had fallen there, and the Emperor Tao law had evolved into a mysterious place. Any living being that entered would be tainted with misfortune and die silently. Therefore, although many experts were training in the ancient chaos land, no one dared to enter the Supreme Emperor's forbidden land. Hearing that Taoist Huang He had brought the jar out from the Supreme Emperor's forbidden land, everyone was immediately energized. Taoist Huang He, what's in this jar? How much are you going to sell it for? Finally, someone couldn't help but ask, pointing at the grayish-brown jar. You mean this heaven-piercing jar? You have good taste. This is my biggest gain from this trip to the Supreme Emperor's forbidden land. I found this heaven-piercing jar in one of the cavern dwellings. When I found it, it contained the extreme Tao Emperor aura, causing me to lose a powerful saint treasure. I'm guessing that there must be a supreme god's artifact in this heaven-piercing jar. However, I haven't opened the seal on it, so I don't know what it is. Taoist Huang He's eyes rolled as he chuckled. A supreme god's artifact. Taoist Huang He, how much are you going to sell this treasure? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Immediately, their breathing became a little hurried. Immeasurable heavenly sovereign, as the saying goes, treasures are given to the fated ones. I haven't opened the seal, not because I can't, but because I want to give it to everyone. Feel free to bid. As long as I'm satisfied and moved, I'll exchange the heaven-reaching jar with it. Taoist Huang He said with a faint smile. Although his clothes were shabby, he had the temperament of an otherworldly expert. Is this an auction? Everyone was slightly taken aback. You can treat it as an auction. However, it's not limited to the origin source pill. You can bid for all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I'm sure that there must be a supreme god's item in this heaven's passage jar. If you don't believe me, just take a look. Taoist Huang He said with a smile. Suddenly, he slammed his palm towards the heavenly jar. His palm spewed out a sharp light as if it could crush a mountain into dust. Boom! The jar trembled slightly, and in an instant, a vast and majestic aura erupted from it. It contained a supreme aura that could suppress all worlds, causing everyone to tremble involuntarily. It was as if a supreme emperor had awakened before them. Their faces paled as they felt extremely fearful. This is indeed an extreme emperor's might. The heaven-piercing jar is indeed worthy of being called the heaven-piercing jar. There must be a supreme god's artifact in it. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with excitement. Extreme emperor's might? Ling Xiao looked at everyone's excited expression and couldn't help but reveal a strange look in his eyes. Ling Xiao could feel that although the vast majesty was very similar to the extreme emperor's might, it wasn't the real extreme emperor's might. It was the aura contained in the good fortune jade disc, which made him even more certain that the fragment of the good fortune jade disc was hidden in the jar. Taoist Huang He, I'll pay 1,000 origin pills. Sell this jar to me. Finally, someone couldn't help but start to bid, his eyes filled with incomparable passion. You want to buy a supreme emperor's item with 1,000 origin pills? I'll pay 3,000 origin pills. What are 3,000 origin pills worth? I'll pay 10,000 origin pills. I don't have any origin pills, but I have a mid-grade saint artifact. I'll pay 50,000 origin pills for this jar. How about that? Everyone couldn't help but start to raise the price. The scene was fiery. It was like an auction. Everyone was determined to get this jar. Ling Xiao was a little speechless. He originally wanted to pick up a bargain and buy this jar, but he didn't expect Taoist Huang He to be so shrewd. After stirring up everyone's emotions, he directly held an auction. In terms of origin pills, Ling Xiao only had 10,000 origin pills on him. Now it seemed that it was far from enough to buy this jar. However, Ling Xiao also had some flawless saint artifacts and even supreme saint techniques that he could take out to exchange, but he wasn't in a hurry to bid. I'll pay a myriad tribulation golden pill. Taoist Huang He, your cultivation base has been stuck in the 9th revolution half-saint realm for a long time, right? This myriad tribulation golden pill can increase your chances of breaking through the limit and let you enter the 3 realms of heaven treading. Sell this jar to me, how about it? Suddenly, a voice sounded in the void. It was indifferent and faintly discernible. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw the noisy crowd in the distance split apart, and a handsome young man in a white robe walked out. He was tall and slender, and his skin was like jade. He strolled over from afar, with an aloof and otherworldly temperament. The most unique thing about him was his eyes. He actually had double pupils, like 2 intertwining suns, containing an incomparably mysterious energy fluctuation. No one dared to look him in the eye, and they all involuntarily lowered their heads. Walking side by side with him was a young man in a black robe. He looked like a monkey with a protruding mouth and ape-like cheeks. His eyes were filled with cold and bloodthirsty killing intent. His aura was incomparably powerful, and the murderous aura around him made people involuntarily step back. Saint Muyuan and sky-reaching demon saint of the heavenly curse sect. Someone said, his voice filled with incomparable awe. Saint Muyuan of the heavenly curse sect was also well known in the human race's saint city. He was extremely powerful, having already entered the 3 realms of heaven treading and formed the human sovereign. He could be ranked among the top of the peerless geniuses in the entire human race's saint city. Sky-reaching demon saint's infamy in the human race's saint city was incomparably resplendent, causing people to pale at the mention of his name. At this moment, seeing the 2 of them walking side by side, the crowd involuntarily opened up a path for them. A myriad tribulation golden pill? Holy Sun Muyuan was really generous. I have to say, I'm a little tempted. Taoist Huang He's eyes flashed, and he smiled faintly. As soon as the words, innumerable calamity golden elixir, came out, Yi Futian was moved. The innumerable calamity golden elixir was a 7th grade divine elixir that contained the will of eternity. It could help people break through their limits and see their true selves. Chapter 2100. Ling Xiao had a strange look in his eyes. He did not expect to see sky-reaching demon saint's real body here. However, Ling Xiao had concealed his aura when he entered the holy city of the human race, so sky-reaching demon saint did not recognize him. Is there anyone else who wants to make a higher bid? If not, this Supreme Emperor's possession will be sold to Saint Muyuan. Taoist Huang He looked at the crowd and smiled, emphasizing the words, Supreme Emperor's possession. However, the crowd did not continue to bid. After all, a calamity golden pill was extremely valuable. It was not something an ordinary person could afford. Furthermore, Saint Muyuan's status was extremely high. Coupled with sky-reaching demon saint's fierce reputation, no one dared to compete with them. Old man Huang He, stop dilly-dallying. I don't think anyone dares to continue bidding. Hand over the heavenly jar. Sky-reaching demon saint's eyes flashed with a fierce light as he sneered. All right, since no one wants to continue bidding, then. Taoist Huang He's face showed a hint of anger, but he didn't dare to say anything. He didn't dare to offend the sky-reaching demon saint. Moreover, a myriad tribulation golden pill was enough to satisfy him. Just as Taoist Huang He was about to announce that the heavenly jar belonged to Saint Muyuan, a cold voice suddenly interrupted him. A supreme golden pill. I want the heavenly jar. The cold voice contained a trace of anger that could not be suppressed. It came from afar. That's Saint Qingyang. Someone exclaimed in surprise. The crowd slowly parted as a young man wearing silver armor and holding a long spear walked over from afar. His face was like a crown of jade, and his heroic spirit was threatening. His figure was extremely slender, and his black hair fluttered behind him. His entire body was emitting a powerful aura. However, his face was extremely gloomy and his eyes were filled with anger. He walked over from the crowd and glared at sky-reaching demon saint. Feng Qingyang? You coward, you finally dare to show yourself. Sky-reaching demon saint raised his eyebrows and sneered. Sky-reaching demon saint, you killed 3 of my followers and 12 of my Supreme Tao Palace disciples. I can only take your life to repay this debt of blood. If I don't kill you, I, Feng Qingyang, am not human. Feng Qingyang's aura was extremely violent, and he did not conceal the blood-red color and killing intent in his eyes. After Feng Qingyang received the golden elixir of longevity from Ling Xiao, he returned to the sacred city of the human race and had been in seclusion in the Qingyang Pavilion. However, when he came out today, he heard that his 3 followers and 12 disciples of the Taishang Dao Palace had all been killed by the Skirich demon saint while they were out training. Feng Qingyang was furious when he heard the news. He wanted nothing more than to grind the sky-reaching demon saint's bones to dust. He rushed over with his spear, his killing intent soaring to the sky. If it weren't for the fact that fighting was prohibited in the holy city of the human race, he would have attacked the sky-reaching demon saint long ago. Feng Qingyang, how dare you threaten me? You haven't even formed a human sovereign yet. I can crush you with one hand. Killing those ants is just a small interest. You and that bastard Ling Shao killed my doppelganger and stole my golden elixir of immortality. You too deserve to die. The sky-reaching demon saint sneered. His eyes were filled with blood-red killing intent as he gave off an extremely terrifying baleful aura. Don't be presumptuous in the holy city of the human race. Suddenly, a voice exploded in the void. It contained a vast saint aura. Feng Qingyang and the sky-reaching demon saint both trembled. The aura they were fighting seemed to have been shattered by the voice. Is that the voice of the Lord Guardian? Someone exclaimed, his eyes filled with awe. The guardian of the holy city of the human race was a supreme saint. His strength was unparalleled. Even those who had reached the third level of the heaven-treading realm were killed by the guardian in one blow if they dared to behave atrociously in the holy city of the human race. Therefore, although these ancient sky prides were powerful and unruly, no one dared to break the iron law of the holy city of the human race. They were very wary of the guardian. Feng Qingyang, don't you want revenge? Come out of the city with me if you can. The sky-reaching demon saint sneered. I was just about to take your life. Feng Qingyang said coldly. His voice was loud. Very well. Today, I'll kill you and destroy the orthodoxy of the Taishangdao Palace. What bullshit Taishangdao Palace? They're just a bunch of ants. Pa. The sky-reaching demon saint laughed wildly. His already ugly face became even more ferocious and terrifying. The Qingyang Holy Sun wants to fight the sky-reaching demon saint? Isn't that too impulsive? Isn't that so? Although the Qingyang Holy Sun has reached the third level of the heaven-treading realm, he hasn't reached the human sovereign realm yet. The sky-reaching demon saint's strength is extremely terrifying. It's said that he's about to break through to the earth realm. Sigh. Is the Taishangdao Palace's sky prides going to die? Everyone was shocked as they discussed in low voices. Although Feng Qingyang was very powerful, the sky-reaching demon saint was notorious. He was an existence that could stop children from crying at night in the holy city of the human race. No one thought that Feng Qingyang would be a match for the sky-reaching demon saint. They all felt that this battle boded ill rather than well. However, the battle between the two sky prides still made everyone extremely excited. They were filled with anticipation. Qingyang Holy Sun, you said that you're going to use a Taishang golden pill to buy my sky-reaching jar. Is that true? Taoist Huang, he suddenly said in a weak voice. Everyone was stunned. Then, they looked at Taoist Huang He as if he had a death wish. Wasn't this guy too reckless? Was he still thinking about selling the sky-reaching jar at a time like this? The sky-reaching demon saint and Miyuan Holy Sun also looked at Taoist Huang He. He immediately felt the pressure double. He could even feel the coldness and killing intent in the sky-reaching demon saint's eyes. However, Taoist Huang He still gritted his teeth and said, Qingyang Holy Sun, this is the sky-reaching jar. As long as you take out a Taishang golden pill, this sky-reaching jar will be yours. The reason Taoist Huang He proposed to sell the sky-reaching jar to Feng Qingyang was because he was really tempted. The Taishang golden pill was the supreme divine pill of the Taishangdao Palace. Although it was also a 7th-grade divine pill like the Oneness Golden Pill, it was much more precious than the Oneness Golden Pill. The Taishang Golden Pill contained supreme truths and could allow one to enter a state of enlightenment. If the Oneness Golden Pill only had a chance of allowing Taoist Huang He to break through his limits, then the Taishang Golden Pill would definitely allow him to break through his limits and ascend to the 3 levels of heaven treading. If Taoist Huang He could ascend to the 3 levels of heaven treading, he would immediately become a sky pride-like figure. Not only would his status increase greatly, but he would even have a glimmer of hope to fight for the supreme position of the Chosen One. Chapter 2101. Taoist Huang He didn't have high hopes for Feng Qingyang, which was why he chose this moment to sell the Heaven Span Jar. Even if he had to offend Skirich Demon Overlord and Saint Mu Yuan, he felt that it was worth it. Moreover, even if he sold the Heaven Span Jar to Feng Qingyang, it would still fall into Skirich Demon Overlord's hands if Feng Qingyang was killed by Skirich Demon Overlord. Feng Qingyang glanced at Taoist Huang He indifferently with a sharp gaze. He naturally understood what Taoist Huang He was thinking, but he still threw an ancient jade bottle at Taoist Huang He with a flash of light in his hand. Here's the exalted golden pill. I want the heaven-span jar. Light shot out from Feng Qingyang's palm and a divine rainbow swept across the sky, sweeping up the heaven-span jar and putting it away. Feng Qingyang didn't even look at Taoist Huang He, Skirich Demon Overlord, Saint Muyuan, and the others. He turned and rushed out of the holy city of the human race. Taoist Huang He naturally didn't stop him. He believed that Feng Qingyang wouldn't lie to him. After receiving the jade bottle like it was a treasure, he opened it and sniffed the medicinal fragrance within. His face immediately revealed an extremely excited expression. It was indeed the exalted golden pill. Taoist Huang He looked around vigilantly. He didn't even bother with his stall and headed straight for the depths of the holy city of the human race. Let's go. Feng Qingyang must die today. Skirich Demon Overlord snorted coldly. He glanced at Taoist Huang He's departing figure and also rushed out of the holy city of the human race. Although Skirich Demon Overlord believed that the heaven-span jar was already in Feng Qingyang's hands, he was still displeased that Taoist Huang He had humiliated him like this. However, the battle with Feng Qingyang was imminent, so he only kept it in mind and would settle the score with Taoist Huang He in the future. Surrounded by a group of geniuses, Skirich Demon Overlord and Saint Muyuan left the holy city of the human race and chased after Feng Qingyang. The holy city of the human race was in an uproar as many experts rushed out of the city. In the past few years since the start of the heavenly selection meeting, although there had been constant battles in the chaotic ancient land and many experts had fallen, there hadn't been many battles between the geniuses of the three realms of ascension. In particular, such a life and death battle was extremely rare. Feng Qingyang and Tongtian Demon Saint were both well known in the sacred city of the human race. Naturally, many people were extremely shocked and looked forward to a life and death battle outside the sacred city of the human race. The showdown between the geniuses might allow them to see the path to break through their limits and ascend to the peak, accumulate strength, and compete for the ultimate opportunity and fortune. Qingyang should have already reached the human sovereign level. He should have no problem fighting the sky-piercing demon saint. But that Muyuan is very strong. I can't see through him. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. Ling Zhao was also filled with killing intent towards the sky-piercing demon saint. He had killed the sky-piercing demon saint's clone, but he didn't expect the sky-piercing demon saint to be so cruel that he wouldn't even let go of Feng Qingyang's followers and disciples of the Taishang Dao Palace. However, he didn't immediately appear to find Feng Qingyang. Instead, he rushed out of the holy city of the human race. He wanted to see the result of the battle before making a decision. With him secretly holding the fort, he could ensure Feng Qingyang's safety. Outside the holy city of the human race, an undulating mountain range, ancient and majestic, pierced through the clouds like a sharp sword, exuding a majestic aura of savagery. Feng Qingyang and Tongtian Demon Saint faced each other in the air. Their eyes were extremely cold and contained killing intent. They intertwined with each other and condensed into a solid form. A clanging sound was heard, like a divine sword flying across the sky, incomparably sharp. Feng Qingyang, I really don't know where you get the confidence to fight me. But no matter what trump card you have, you'll definitely die today. The sky-piercing demon saint sneered with a cruel gaze. Cut the crap. Sky-piercing demon saint, you've done a lot of evil. Today, I'll take your head as a sacrifice to the disciples of the Taishang Palace. Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with coldness. Rumble. The aura around him was violent and blazing. Flames rose around him as if forming a vast sea of fire, causing Feng Qingyang's aura to soar to the extreme. The pressure swept out in all directions. He was accumulating his power. The more hatred he had for the sky-piercing demon saint, the calmer he became. How childish. Feng Qingyang, do you really think you're qualified to fight me? I heard that the Taishang Palace has a peerless female disciple called Jin Se who has the Taishang saint body. After I kill you, I'll capture Jin Se and make her my wife. Pa. The sky-piercing demon saint laughed arrogantly. He was cruel and cunning. The reason why he spoke so much was not because he was doing something useless, but because he wanted to anger Feng Qingyang and find a flaw in Feng Qingyang's body. You're courting death for insulting junior sister Jin Sei. Feng Qingyang's eyes flashed with killing intent as the terrifying aura around him erupted instantly. Damn it! Ling Xiao, who was watching the battle from below, also had a cold look in his eyes. He did not expect the sky-piercing demon saint to target Jin Sei. This made him want to kill the sky-piercing demon saint even more. However, Feng Qingyang's speed was faster. Rumble! In the void, the sea of fire rose. It was as if a blazing sun had risen behind Feng Qingyang before it suddenly exploded. Endless flames were attached to the silver war spear in his hand. In an instant, the spear pierced through the air and shot toward the sky-piercing demon saint's forehead. The flaming war spear pierced through the air and dyed the silver armor on Feng Qingyang's body dazzling. His eyes were filled with anger and killing intent as he thrust out his spear with all his might. Boom! The void shook violently as the spear radiance bloomed like lightning. It almost instantly pierced through the sky-piercing demon saint's forehead. Good timing! The sky-piercing demon saint sneered and instantly leaped up. His speed was so fast that he turned into thousands of afterimages in the void. Feng Qingyang's spear radiance pierced through the afterimages, but it seemed to have lost the sky-piercing demon saint's aura. A black blood radiance bloomed in the void as if the world had been split in half. The sky-piercing demon saint appeared above Feng Qingyang with a ghost head blade in his hand. His body was surrounded by a black demonic light. His eyes were extremely cruel as he slashed down at Feng Qingyang's head. Gotcha! Feng Qingyang's eyes flashed as the silver war spear in his hand collided with the ghost head blade. Blazing radiance bloomed, causing the surrounding earth to shake violently. You've condensed a human sovereign? The sky-piercing demon saint's surprised voice was heard as his figure flew out from the divine light that filled the sky. Chapter 2102. G. Feng Qingyang's eyes were cold as blazing flames rose around his body. 9 dazzling suns appeared behind him and pressed down on Skirich Demon Saint. Feng Qingyang used the heavenly solar art. A sea of fire surged around him as if the entire void was shrouded in blazing flames that wanted to turn all life into ashes. Break! Skirich Demon Saint's eyes turned solemn. He could feel that Feng Qingyang's strength had increased greatly after he formed the human sovereign realm. He felt a great threat when Feng Qingyang used the heavenly solar art. Skirich Demon Saint spun like a top with the ghost head saber in his hand. The saber radiance was blazing, and the chilly wind howled like the wailing of ghosts as it emitted an extremely cold gale. Feng Qingyang and Skirich Demon Saint fought fiercely in the void like 2 dazzling storms of divine light. Every time they collided, the world would tremble and the void would rumble. The desolate mountain range below was trembling as if it couldn't withstand the battle between Feng Qingyang and Skirich Demon Saint. A black saber radiance slashed across the sky. Feng Qingyang dodged it by shifting his body. The saber radiance slashed down and cut a towering mountain in half. The terrifying saber intent turned the towering ancient trees on the mountain into dust as if a terrifying storm had been set off. Boom! Feng Qingyang's silver spear pierced towards Skirich Demon Saint's heart like a silver lightning bolt. Skirich Demon Saint blocked it with his ghost head saber. The sound of metal clashing rang out as a terrifying shockwave spread out, causing the ground below to tremble and crack like a spider web. Feng Qingyang and Skirich Demon Saint were extremely fast. They were like spiritual apes soaring in the sky or tigers and leopards fighting. Each of their attacks was extremely terrifying. Both of them were supreme experts in the 3rd realm of heaven treading. Their attacks contained the power of the Great Path Law. One could imagine the destructive power they could cause. The surrounding people stared at the battle between Feng Qingyang and Skirich Demon Saint with amazement in their eyes. Is this the battle of the Sky Prides? The aura is too terrifying. Someone said with a pale face. Although they were far away, that aura still made him tremble in fear. Who would have thought that Feng Qingyang would be able to fight the sky-piercing demon saint to such an extent? Did he really break through? Very likely. Rumor had it that Feng Qingyang had fought with the sky-piercing demon saint in the past, but the latter had lost. Now, it seemed like Feng Qingyang would be able to avenge himself. He might even be able to defeat the sky-piercing demon saint. Defeat the sky-piercing demon saint? How could it be that easy? Do you really think that Holy Sun Muyuan is here to watch the show? Given his relationship with the sky-piercing demon saint, if the sky-piercing demon saint is no match for him, he will definitely step in. No matter how strong Feng Qingyang is, he is no match for the two supreme geniuses. It seems like his defeat is already destined. What a pity! Everyone had different expressions on their faces as they tried to guess the outcome of this battle. However, when they saw Saint Muyuan's indifferent expression, their hearts trembled slightly and they began to sympathize with Feng Qingyang. This sky-reaching beast saint is indeed very strong. I'm afraid it won't be easy for Feng Qingyang to defeat him. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he stood on top of a mountain and watched the battle between Feng Qingyang and the sky-reaching beast saint. He could feel that the sky-reaching beast saint was extremely strong, while Feng Qingyang had just condensed the human sovereign realm. In terms of cultivation, he might be weaker than the sky-reaching beast saint. Moreover, Ling Xiao could feel that the sky-reaching beast saint was still hiding his strength. There was a terrifying power hidden in his body. Feng Qingyang's aura had risen to the extreme. The killing intent in his eyes was so intense that it seemed to have materialized. At this moment he suddenly roared. Boom! The blazing flames around him suddenly bloomed and turned into blazing runes in the void. They intertwined with each other and seemed to form billions of divine weapons in an instant. They contained an extremely terrifying power and directly pressed down on the sky-reaching beast saint. Feng Qingyang seemed to have become the center of the storm. Billions of divine weapons were all formed from the great Tao. The surrounding mountains were all blasted into smithereens. Divine light gushed out from all over the sky, trying to turn all matter into the most primordial power. This was the forbidden art of the Taishang Palace. Feng Qingyang could feel the power of the sky-reaching beast saint, so he did not hesitate to use this forbidden art. The sky-reaching beast saint was in the center of the billions of divine weapons and was almost instantly engulfed by them. Feng Qingyang's eyes were cold as if he did not want to give the sky-reaching beast saint any chance of survival. After burying the sky-reaching beast saint with the divine weapon saint technique, the silver spear in his hand pierced through the void and turned into billions of afterimages as it shot towards the sky-reaching beast saint. Boom! A huge mountain suddenly exploded. Rocks flew everywhere and divine light gushed out. There was a flash of blood in the void. The sky-reaching beast saint seemed to have been torn into pieces by the divine weapon saint technique and Feng Qingyang's silver spear. What a terrifying divine weapon saint technique! Someone exclaimed and couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Almost every strike of the billions of Tao weapons contained supreme power. The terrifying fluctuations of the Tao weapons and saint techniques caused the surrounding spectators to feel their hearts palpitate. Could it be that the sky-reaching beast saint was killed by Feng Qingyang just like that? Someone was shocked. They did not expect the outcome to be decided so quickly. No, that's not the sky-reaching beast saint. The sky-reaching beast saint is over there. Suddenly, a divine light flashed in someone's eyes as he looked behind Feng Qingyang. Rumble! Blazing divine light burst out and shook the world. In the endless chaotic mist, the sky-reaching beast saint's body was badly mutilated. However, his eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. Blood-red divine chains of order shot out from his body and instantly wrapped around Feng Qingyang's limbs and neck. The sky-reaching beast saint's eyes were blood-red. He held a huge ghost-head saber in his hand and emitted a whistling wind as he slashed towards Feng Qingyang. Feng Qingyang, I didn't expect you to have mastered a divine weapon saint technique. But today, you still have to die. The sky-reaching beast saint's voice was bone-chilling as he roared furiously. He did not expect Feng Qingyang to push him to this point. Feng Qingyang had even mastered a divine weapon saint technique. If he had not dodged quickly, he would have been seriously injured even if he did not die. His speed was extremely fast as he descended from the ninth heaven. Black demonic light rose from his body and his ghost head saber emitted a sound that made one's mind confused. Chapter 2103. Boom. Feng Qingyang's expression changed slightly. He could feel that the divine chains of order that wrapped around his limbs were incomparably sturdy. It was impossible for him to break them apart in a short period of time. Furthermore, Skirich Demon Saint's speed was too fast. He could only endure the power of this blow. The sun opens the sky, the moon destroys the world, Feng Qingyang shouted. Blazing light gushed out from his body, forming two colors, black and white. With him as the core, a mysterious shadow of the Taiji diagram appeared and rotated around him. Feng Qingyang's aura skyrocketed. The divine chains of order that wrapped around him were instantly crushed by the shadow of the Taiji diagram. Feng Qingyang pushed out his arms. The shadow of the Taiji diagram soared into the sky and collided with the huge skull with a loud bang. Divine light erupted all over the sky like a volcanic eruption. Cracks appeared on the huge skull. In the end, it exploded with a loud bang. The ghost head saber trembled violently, as if it was about to fly out of Skirich Demon Saint's hand. The Taiji diagram slammed into Skirich Demon Saint's body, causing the demon chi around him to spurt out. He staggered and his face turned extremely pale. Suddenly, he spat out a mouthful of blood essence. Skirich Demon Saint was injured for the first time. The shadow of the Taiji diagram was filled with mysterious runes and intertwined with the light of the Dharma. It was like the incarnation of the great Tao. It seemed to be extremely lethal to Skirich Demon Saint, causing his injuries to be irreversible. Skirich Demon Saint's body was badly mutilated, as if he had been dismembered. He looked extremely miserable. Feng Qingyang, you deserve to die. Skirich Demon Saint roared. Black divine light gushed out from his body. His fierce aura erupted and his eyes were filled with blood-red killing intent. Rumble. Boom. Boom. Skirich Demon Saint's aura skyrocketed in an instant and turned into a giant beast. He was ancient and ferocious, as if an ancient fierce beast had awakened. Skirich Demon Saint has been forced by Feng Qingyang to the point of revealing his true form? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. In the air, the colossal beast was shrouded in chaotic mist. It was pitch black, and its fur was glossy and shiny. Its fur was as sharp as steel needles. It had an extremely ugly face, and its eyes were filled with bloodthirsty and frenzied killing intent. This giant beast actually looked like a giant rat. This is a mutant from the primordial times, the heavenly rat. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes as he muttered to himself in surprise. He immediately recognized the origins of the sky-reaching demon saint. The Heavenspan rat was an ancient variant that was said to be able to see through the heavens and the earth, and possessed extraordinary abilities. Not only did it possess extreme speed, it was capable of traversing through space, and it was even capable of swallowing gold, refining jade, and smelting everything in the world. No wonder the sky-reaching demon sage had such a name. It turned out that his true form was the sky-reaching rat. In the void, Tong Tian rat, who was tens of thousands of feet tall, was hidden in the chaotic mist. His eyes were like blood moons, filled with cold killing intent. An extremely sharp sound wave instantly erupted from his mouth, rushing towards Feng Qingyang. At the same time, its sharp claws swept across the air like a huge mountain. After revealing his true form, the sky-reaching demon saint's aura had increased by several times. The surrounding people were extremely shocked, and their faces were extremely pale. Feng Qingyang's expression also changed. He rushed into the sky with the silver spear in his hand, wanting to block the sky-reaching demon saint's huge claws. However, the terrifying sound wave was formless and intangible, but it contained extremely strong killing power. It caused him to stagger and slow down a lot. Bang! Feng Qingyang and his spear were slapped down from the sky by the sky-reaching rat, and the mountain below was smashed into powder. Boom, boom, boom. Tong Tian Rat did not give Feng Qingyang any chance to react. His attack was as fast as lightning. His sharp claws constantly fell on Feng Qingyang's body. Feng Qingyang's body was trembling violently as he coughed up blood. He had also suffered serious injuries. Go to hell! The sky-reaching rat grabbed Feng Qingyang and opened its bloody mouth, revealing its white and sharp teeth. It was about to devour Feng Qingyang. Tai Chi True Self, myriad transformations as one. Open! Feng Qingyang's face was extremely pale, but his eyes were extremely sharp. He roared, and the mysterious aura around him rose. The black and white Tai Chi diagram emerged again, wrapping him up. This was the Supreme Emperor Art of the Supreme Doctrine Palace. Although Feng Qingyang had only comprehended a little of it, it was extremely powerful at this moment. The sky-reaching rat's sharp teeth could no longer fall. The black and white Tai Chi diagram slowly rotated, and a bloody light flashed. Several of the sky-reaching rat's teeth were shattered. Rumble! Although Feng Qingyang's face was pale, his eyes were incomparably bright. The Tai Chi diagram shone brightly, emitting boundless light. Runes filled the air, and the great Tao Law bloomed. The Tai Chi diagram was like a bright sun, and it instantly soared across the sky, pressing down on the sky-reaching rat. Feng Qingyang activated the Supreme Emperor Art. The mysterious Tai Chi diagram seemed to be able to melt everything. It caused the sky-reaching rat to tremble violently, as if it was facing the majestic heavenly might. The surrounding space was sealed, and there was no way it could escape. Roar! The sky-reaching rat roared a few times, and a terrifying aura gushed out from its body. Blazing divine light bloomed. It used various powerful means, but there was no way to break the Tai Chi diagram. It could only watch as the Tai Chi diagram pressed down on it. The sky-reaching demon overlord is going to be suppressed by Feng Qingyang. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Was the ferocious and insufferably arrogant demon saint going to be suppressed by Feng Qingyang? Kacha! All of a sudden, a mysterious rune bloomed in the void. Vast and ancient great Tao Law descended, containing an aura that could annihilate everything. Finally, it intertwined into a mysterious rune. It seemed to be hidden in the void, invisible and intangible. It turned into an incomparably mysterious curse power, and instantly flew towards Feng Qingyang. The curse power entered Feng Qingyang's body almost instantaneously. At this moment, Feng Qingyang was fully activating the Tai Chi diagram, trying to suppress Feng Qingyang. He did not expect that someone would launch a sneak attack from behind. He could not help but tremble, and suddenly coughed out a mouthful of blood. The Tai Chi diagram that he was controlling trembled violently, as if it was going to collapse at any time. Shameless! Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with rage and killing intent, and he stared at Saint Sun Muyuan in the distance. The curse power came from Saint Sun Muyuan, and it caused Feng Qingyang to suffer a serious injury at the critical moment. Chapter 2104. No one had expected Saint Muyuan to attack Feng Qingyang at the critical moment of his battle with the piercing demon overlord. Moreover, he had used an extremely strange curse power to silently invade Feng Qingyang's body, interrupting his Supreme Emperor technique and causing the Taiji diagram to tremble violently, as if it was going to collapse at any time. Boom! The sky-piercing demon saint was about to be suppressed by the Taiji diagram. Now that he saw what was happening, he let out a loud roar. Terrifying demonic light rose around him, and streaks of black lightning intertwined. Like an erupting volcano, he directly shattered the Taiji diagram and rushed out from it. However, there was no longer a trace of arrogance on his face. Instead, his eyes were filled with deep fear and horror. When that Tai Chi diagram came crashing down, he really felt the threat of death. This was the power of a Supreme Emperor technique. A trace of greed appeared on the piercing demon overlord's face. If he could obtain this Supreme Emperor technique, His strength would definitely improve qualitatively. Damn it. Murderous intent flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. Saint Sun Muyuan's attack was beyond his expectations. Heaven's prides had their own pride. They wouldn't allow others to interfere in a major battle. In addition, Saint Sun Muyuan's curse was silent and extremely strange. By the time Ling Zhao realized it, it was already too late. He had underestimated Saint Muyuan's shamelessness. The aura in Ling Zhao's body surged violently like a volcano that was about to erupt, containing extremely terrifying energy fluctuations. He was ready to strike at any time and kill the piercing demon overlord and Saint Muyuan with lightning speed. These two people had already aroused his killing intent. Feng Qingyang's supreme emperor technique had been interrupted when the Taiji diagram was broken. He had also suffered a severe backlash, coughing up blood, and his face had become extremely pale. Despicable and shameless. I didn't expect Saint Muyuan of the Heavenly Curse sect to be so weak. If you want to save him, then come at me together. I, Feng Qingyang, am not afraid. Although Feng Qingyang's face was pale, his eyes were incomparably bright and sharp. His voice was sonorous and powerful as he stared at Saint Muyuan. Saint Muyuan, when it's possible to let people off, you should spare them. Why do you have to kill the piercing demon overlord? How is your style different from the demon race? Saint Sun Muyuan smiled faintly. His figure was tall and slender, and his black hair was thick and glossy, casually draped behind his head. His face was extremely handsome, and his skin was as white as ivory. His entire person exuded an extraordinary temperament, as if a saint had descended to the mortal world. Especially the double pupils in his eyes, they were suffused with chaotic energy and interwoven with the laws of the great Tao. They were like a chaotic vortex that seemed to be able to devour everything. Everyone couldn't help but admire this kind of peerless bearing. Although many people despised Saint Muyuan for sneaking an attack on Feng Qingyang, no one dared to say anything. Exterminate? A battle of life and death was supposed to be a battle of life and death. If you want to make a move, just do it. Why do you need so many excuses? Muyuan, don't think I don't know that it was your Heavenly Curse sect's disciple who leaked the information to the sky-reaching demon saint. Feng Qingyang sneered as his eyes were filled with coldness. Holy Sun Qingyang, you're so disappointing. Without any evidence, you slandered the sky-reaching demon saint for killing your people. Now you're slandering me. Are you forcing me to make a move? Saint Sun Muyuan sighed softly as a vast aura spread out from his body. It was vast and mighty like the heavenly might, containing unpredictable energy fluctuations. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Muyuan, today, either you die or I die. Feng Qingyang's eyes were blood-red and filled with determination. His body was as straight as a divine spear, exuding a sharp aura that pierced through the clouds. He was already seriously injured. Now that he was facing the graveyard saint in his prime and the sky-reaching demon saint, Feng Qingyang knew that this battle boded ill rather than well. However, as the saint of the Taishangdao Palace, he had his own pride and dignity. Even though he knew that he would die in this battle, he had to fight for his dignity. Moreover, Feng Qingyang was confident that even if he died in this battle, he could drag someone down with him. Feng Qingyang's firm words moved the crowd. He knows that he can't do it, yet he still does it. Is Feng Qingyang ignorant or stupid? What a pity! If it weren't for Saint Sun Muyuan, perhaps Feng Qingyang could create glory and kill the sky-reaching demon saint and become famous. That's right. Saint Sun Muyuan is said to be stronger than the sky-reaching demon saint and has a good relationship with the Son of Heaven. Looks like there's no suspense in this battle anymore. The spectators were discussing among themselves. Although they admired Feng Qingyang, their rationality told them that Feng Qingyang would not be able to win and would most likely fall here today. Saint Sun Qingyang, why do you have to do this? How about this? Kneel down and apologize to the sky-reaching demon saint and me, and we won't pursue your sins. How about that? Saint Sun Muyuan sighed softly with a trace of regret in his eyes. Kneel to you? Are you worthy? I, Feng Qingyang, have never knelt to heaven or earth in my life. I only kneel to my parents and teachers. Who do you think you are? Feng Qingyang sneered. His eyes were sharp as the aura around him rose. Blazing flames spread out as if they could burn the world. What a pity! A genius cannot be humiliated. Since you've slandered me, I can only take action against you, Saint Sun Muyuan said indifferently. His eyelids drooped as mysterious runes flashed around him. Vast heavenly law filled the air as a mysterious force locked onto Feng Qingyang. There's no need to talk nonsense with him. Just kill him and hang his head up to lure that bastard Ling Xiao over. Cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Tong Tian Demon Saint sneered. His eyes were filled with undisguised killing intent. Although he had broken free from the Taiji diagram, Feng Qingyang had still inflicted serious injuries on him. Rumble. In the void, three powerful auras intertwined. Vast heavenly might and great Tao law descended, causing the spectators to shudder in fear. Their faces turned pale as they hurriedly retreated. An earth-shattering battle was about to begin. Sky-reaching Demon Saint, are you trying to kill me? Suddenly, an indifferent and ethereal voice rang out in the void. Although it was not loud, it sounded like the voice of a heavenly emperor, suppressing all other sounds. The divine light that filled the sky suddenly exploded. Amidst the endless chaotic energy, a white-robed young man stepped through the void as if he was stepping on a flight of stairs. His body emitted a monstrous aura, and his eyes were clear and resplendent. Chapter 2105. Your Ling Xiao. Sky-piercing Demon Saint trembled. His eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. After Ling Xiao stopped concealing his aura, he instantly recognized him. The white-clothed youth before him was Ling Xiao, who had killed his doppelganger and snatched his longevity gold elixir. Ling Xiao, you have broken through? Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with surprise when he saw Ling Xiao. He could see that Ling Xiao's injuries had not only completely healed, but he had also broken through to the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Ling Xiao could defeat him when he was severely injured and even killed Sky-piercing Demon Saint's doppelganger. How powerful would Ling Xiao be now? Feng Qingyang's heart was filled with confidence. Lucky breakthrough. You are too impatient. Why do you have to fight to the death when there are shameless people besieging you? As long as you stay alive, you will be able to take revenge sooner or later. Ling Xiao smiled faintly with a calm expression. They have gone too far. Ling Xiao, Sky-piercing Demon Saint is nothing to worry about. However, Mu Yuan's Polychoria divine ability is said to have the power to split open the sky. You have to be careful. Feng Qingyang said with a solemn expression. Don't worry. None of them will be able to escape today. Ling Xiao said faintly with a calm expression. There seemed to be a blazing sharpness in his eyes. Ling Xiao, you killed my doppelganger and snatched my longevity gold elixir. Today you will pay with your life. Sky-piercing Demon Saint roared. His eyes were filled with blazing killing intent. He could not hold it in any longer and pounced on Ling Xiao. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes burn with hatred. The one that Sky-reaching Demon Saint hated the most was Ling Xiao. His clone and the golden elixir of immortality that he had spent so much effort to refine had been destroyed by Ling Xiao just like that. He was filled with hatred and wanted nothing more than to tear Ling Xiao to pieces. Rumble. Demonic light rose from his body. The ghost head saber in his hand emitted a blazing light. It was like a gust of wind, wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. He suddenly slashed his saber at Ling Xiao. You are courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. His blood qi and chaotic qi filled the air around him, making his aura extremely terrifying. A fist print flew across the sky and smashed towards Sky-piercing Demon Saint. The space suddenly shattered. Ling Xiao's punch was filled with extreme power, as if it was going to reopen the world and return everything to chaos. It contained an immortal and eternal power. The breakthrough this time wasn't just a breakthrough in Ling Xiao's cultivation base. More importantly, it allowed his physical body to be tempered by the primal chaos, reaching a kind of great success. The large success of the primal chaos allowed Ling Zhao's every move to possess an unfathomable divine might. Although the saber light emitted by the demonic headblade was extremely intense, it was annihilated by Ling Zhao's punch. In the end, the fist landed directly on the demonic headblade, causing it to emit a resplendent glow and start to vibrate violently. Boom! The Skirich demon saint's face changed drastically. He felt an unstoppable force assault him, causing his arm to tremble violently. He actually lost his grip on his saber and was sent flying. You? How is this possible? The Skirich demon saint's eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao was only a 9th revolution half-saint, but the strength of his physical body made him tremble all over. It was as if he was a supreme sacred beast from ancient times, possessing the power to destroy heaven and earth. However, the person in front of him was clearly a human. How could his physical body be so strong? Boom! Ling Zhao's eyes were cold. His fist was like a dragon. After sending the demonic head blade flying, the vast chaotic fist print pressed down with an indomitable will. It seemed to contain the power of 3,000 worlds, capable of suppressing everything. The Skirich demon saint couldn't dodge. His face was extremely ugly. He could only stretch out his arms with all his might, erupting with terrifying demonic light to block Ling Zhao's fist. Crack! With a crisp sound, the Skirich demon saint's arms were broken. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere, revealing his white bones. He looked extremely miserable. The Skirich demon saint screamed and was sent flying. He smashed into a mountain in the distance, causing it to explode. Everyone's body trembled as they were completely dumbfounded. The insufferably arrogant sky-reaching demon saint was actually defeated by Ling Xiao in one move. Ling Xiao only threw out a single punch, but it was unstoppable. It possessed an unparalleled power that could suppress the world and turn the Skirich demon saint's arms into dust. The true form of the sky-piercing demon saint was a sky-piercing rat, an ancient mutated beast. His physical body was incomparably strong to begin with. But now that he was defeated by a mere human, everyone felt as though they were in a dream. How can Ling Xiao be so strong? He's only a 9th revolution half-saint, but he can go against the flow and defeat the Skirich demon saint. His talent is too terrifying. That's right. If he advances to the 3rd level of heaven treading, won't he be able to defeat all the prodigies and compete with the emperor? How terrifying. The human race actually has such a prodigy. It's unbelievable. I wonder who he is. Is he also an ancient prodigy? Everyone discussed spiritedly, guessing Ling Zhao's identity. They were extremely shocked by the result of this battle. He can't even withstand a single blow. Saint Sun Muyuan, don't you plan to avenge him? Ling Xiao said indifferently. He didn't care whether the Skirich demon saint was dead or alive. His gaze landed on Saint Sun Muyuan as he spoke with a faint smile. The heavenly emperor's fist just now seemed casual, but it was the most powerful punch that Ling Xiao could muster. It was a shocking blow that erupted from the tremendous momentum he had accumulated. If the Skirich demon saint hadn't been caught off guard, he wouldn't have lost so miserably. However, the result of the heavenly emperor's fist was shocking enough. At the very least, everyone was shocked. Even Saint Sun Muyuan had a solemn look in his eyes. Ling Xiao? That's an unfamiliar name. Although I don't know who you are you sure you want to fight for Feng Qingyang? Your physical body is indeed very strong, but you don't understand what true power is. Saint Sun Muyuan looked directly at Ling Xiao as he spoke. His eyes were extremely deep. Then do you know what true power is? I really want to see how strong Saint Sun Muyuan of the Heavenly Curse sect is. Ling Xiao said indifferently with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Towards a hypocrite like Mu Yuan, he had never had a good impression of him. He had witnessed Mu Yuan's actions earlier. Even Feng Qingyang had almost died in Mu Yuan's hands. Are you sure you want to offend the Heavenly Curse sect? Believe me, the result isn't something you can bear. Ling Xiao, I think you're quite strong. Why do you have to mix with trash like Feng Qingyang? Why don't you side with me? I'll teach you the Supreme Emperor technique. How about it? Chapter 2106. Supreme Emperor Technique? Someone exclaimed. Immediately, a blazing look appeared in his eyes. Who would have thought that in order to win over Ling Xiao, Holy Sun Muyuan would not hesitate to offer a Supreme Monarch technique? It should be known that Supreme Monarch techniques contained extreme monarch aura and possessed unfathomable power. They could go against the flow of the universe and increase one's battle prowess exponentially. Feng Qingyang and the heaven-piercing demon saint were similar in strength, but Feng Qingyang had a Supreme Emperor technique that almost killed the heaven-piercing demon saint. One could imagine how powerful the Supreme Emperor technique was. Supreme Emperor technique? Muyuan, why don't you submit to me and be my servant? I'll teach you the Supreme Emperor scripture. What do you think? Ling Xiao raised his eyebrows and said with a faint smile. The Supreme Emperor technique was just a superpower, but the Supreme Emperor scripture contained the ultimate power of a great emperor. It contained many powerful emperor techniques, and its value was immeasurable. Supreme Emperor scripture? Aren't you afraid of biting your own tongue? Since you're so stubborn, don't blame me for being impolite. Saint Muyuan's face darkened, and he sneered. He naturally didn't think that Ling Xiao would have the Supreme Emperor scripture. After all, the inheritance of a Supreme Emperor was extremely precious. Even he didn't have the Supreme Emperor scripture. In the entire human race's Saint City, the only person who had the Supreme Emperor scripture was probably the Emperor. He thought that Ling Xiao was making fun of him, and anger rose in his heart. Rumble. Saint Muyuan was surrounded by rays of light and mysterious symbols. It made his aura seem even more ethereal, as though he was hidden in heaven and earth and had become one with the great Tao. Although Saint Muyuan knew that Ling Xiao's physical body was very strong, he was still confident that he could defeat Ling Xiao. After all, the curse power that Ling Xiao cultivated was invisible and formless. It could destroy and annihilate everything from the inside. Cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight. Starting with you, the heavenly curse sect will be destroyed today. Ling Xiao sneered, and his eyes were blazing with sharpness. Golden qi and blood rose around him, as dazzling as a divine glow. It contained a vast and terrifying energy fluctuation. Chaotic qi pervaded the air, making him look like a peerless young celestial emperor who could suppress everything. Boom! Ling Xiao stepped into the void, causing the earth to rumble violently. Divine light exploded all over the sky, and he shot towards Saint Muyuan like a dazzling meteor. A mighty golden fist print traversed the void, and it had the power to destroy everything. Ling Xiao made the first move. Thousand Swords Curse. Saint Muyuan's eyes were dazzling, and there seemed to be traces of chaotic qi lingering in the air. His expression was extremely cold as he shouted. In an instant, sword qi intertwined in the void. Billions of sharp lights collided and turned into thousands of unparalleled sword qi, slashing towards Ling Xiao. The sword qi was shapeless and formless. It was formed from pure energy of the laws, and it contained the power to pierce through everything. Insignificant! Ling Xiao sneered. He showed no signs of dodging at all. Scorching light surged around him as strands of golden light seemed to form golden vortexes. Clang, clang, clang. When the sword qi hit Ling Xiao's body, it actually produced the sound of metal clashing. It was as if they were blocked by an invisible barrier. They simply couldn't break through Ling Xiao's defense. Rumble! Ling Xiao's aura surged like the sea, and his aura became even more terrifying. His golden fist print appeared in front of Saint Muyuan in an instant. Imperial Heaven Curse. Saint Muyuan's expression remained indifferent as he called out. Runes rose around him and condensed into a mysterious starry sky in front of him. It seemed to be able to contain everything. Ling Xiao's fist imprint exploded in the starry sky, shaking the heavens all around. The stars in the sky seemed like they were about to fall, but they seemed to be millions of miles away from Saint Muyuan, separated by time and space. Buzz! Saint Muyuan's palm glowed, and a glittering scepter appeared. It looked like a glazed crystal. Mysterious runes of the law intertwined with it, and it contained a vast amount of curse power. Forbidden Heaven Curse. Saint Muyuan's eyes darkened. He pointed at Ling Xiao with the scepter in his hand. Runes rose from the void and formed a mysterious world in the void, trapping Ling Xiao within. There was only eternal darkness and silence. There was no light or color. Not only was there no way to feel the passage of time and space, but it was also as if he was about to forget himself. Open. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with an unparalleled sharpness. In that instant, the blood and qi in his body surged like a raging flame. All the energy in his body gathered on his fist, and he suddenly punched out towards the endless void. Chaotic qi filled the air. The vast chaotic fist print had the power to split the heavens and earth. It shattered the dark world in an instant, and a blazing light appeared in front of Ling Xiao again. Ling Xiao's aura rose. He used a secret teleportation technique and instantly moved hundreds of millions of miles across the void. He charged at St. Muyuan. Boom! Ling Xiao's fist was like a dragon. The vast fist intent could destroy everything. It arrived in front of St. Muyuan in an instant and blasted him into dust. An afterimage? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He realized that this wasn't St. Muyuan's real body. It couldn't even be considered a clone. It was just an afterimage condensed by a curse. Rumble. After Ling Xiao destroyed the afterimage, a blazing light rose up in an instant. Mysterious runes silently burrowed into Ling Xiao's body, containing a power that could destroy everything. That was the power of a curse. It was the power of the Great Path. It was soundless and there was no way to dodge it. He could only watch it enter his body. Great Destruction Curse. Saint Muyuan's figure appeared in the void in the distance. His robes were whiter than snow, and he held a scepter in his hand. The runes between his eyebrows shone brightly. He looked like a supreme saint from ancient times who controlled the Great Path. He was mysterious and unfathomable. As he called out, the inscriptions that had invaded Ling Xiao's body instantly shattered. The vast laws of the world were destroyed, like a storm of destruction, about to completely obliterate all life. Although Ling Xiao's physical body was incomparably strong, the power of the curse was destroying him from the inside out. Ling Xiao almost couldn't withstand it. His body trembled violently, and cracks appeared on it. It was as if his physical body was going to collapse at any time. What? Is Ling Xiao going to lose? Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Chapter 2107. Rumble. Black light flickered around Ling Xiao's body as runes spread out. Cracks actually appeared on the surface of his powerful body, as if it would collapse at any moment. He coughed up blood as if he had been severely injured. His face turned extremely pale. The heavenly curse sex incantation divine ability was incomparably strange. It silently invaded one's body and contained the vast power of the great Tao that could destroy everything. After all, the heavenly way was flawed, and it was impossible for all living things to be perfect. There would always be flaws. The curse used the power of the Great Way to find the flaws of living things and deliver a fatal blow. Although Ling Xiao's body was extremely powerful, it was not perfect. When Saint Sunmian used the Great Destruction Curse, his entire body seemed to have merged with the heavenly way. His every move contained the power of the heavens. Boom! The terrifying power of the curse spread out around Ling Xiao and even surged into his primordial spirit. It wanted to completely destroy his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's aura grew weaker and weaker as he coughed up blood. It was as if his entire body was about to collapse in the void and turn into a bloody mist. However, Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely calm and cold. There was a hint of mockery in his eyes as he slowly spat out a word. Devour. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness shone brightly at this moment. 9-colored divine light bloomed, ancient and mysterious. It transformed into a vast and terrifying devouring vortex. In an instant, it devoured the strange power of the curse in Ling Xiao's body. The origin of the power of the curse was the Great Way. Even with Ling Xiao's current attainments in the heaven-devouring secret skill, it was difficult for him to completely devour and refine it. However, The wordless heavenly book erupted at this moment. In an instant, the power of the curse in Ling Xiao's body was completely devoured by the wordless heavenly book. A terrifying power of qi and blood erupted from Ling Xiao's body. The void around him trembled as billions of rays of divine light gushed out. In an instant, the sky around him shook violently. What? Saint Muyuan shuddered as disbelief filled his eyes. Suddenly, the laws of the world surged out, causing him to suffer a great backlash. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Saint Sun Muyin had used the Great Destruction Curse and merged it with the Great Path Law. Although he could borrow the supreme power of the Great Path Law, he would also suffer a great backlash if the curse was broken. Ling Xiao had noticed this before, so he had only resisted it with his physical body at the beginning. When the vast power of the curse had completely integrated into his body, he had unleashed the power of the wordless book and devoured all the curse power. Saint Sun Muyuan naturally suffered a backlash from the great Tao laws, and his aura became chaotic. Kill! Ling Xiao roared. His eyes were extremely cold, and his body was enveloped in a monstrous divine light. He charged toward Saint Muyuan with a punch. Heaven and earth trembled as Ling Xiao charged through the sky. Wherever he passed, mountains exploded and the earth quaked. The terrifying divine light contained unparalleled divine power and suppressed Saint Sun Muyuan. Saint Sun Muyuan suffered a backlash from the Great Path Law, so his reaction was naturally slower. At this moment, there was no way for him to dodge Ling Xiao's punch. He could only take it head-on. Boom! Ling Xiao's punch was like a dragon, and his aura was extremely violent. The punch directly shattered the Imperial Heaven spell around Saint Sun Muyuan and landed heavily on his chest. Saint Sun Muyuan's white robe emitted a dazzling light. In an instant, an unparalleled saint aura shot into the sky, trying to dissolve the terrifying power contained in Ling Xiao's punch. However, in the end, the saint aura collapsed, and Saint Sun Muyuan was sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. A crisp sound rang out. Saint Sun Muyuan's ribs were broken, and his face turned even paler. The corner of his mouth was full of blood. Boom! 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 Ling Xiao did not seem to want to give Saint Sun Muyuan any chance to escape. His battle intent surged into the sky, and he had an invincible aura. His understanding of the fist of the Heavenly Emperor was getting deeper and deeper. Every time he attacked, there was boundless divine power. The invincible fist intent seemed to have been imprinted in his bones, and it exploded with shocking power. The sky was filled with Ling Xiao's fist prints. They intertwined into mysterious shadows and charged towards Saint Sun Muyuan. Even though Saint Prince Muyuan tried his best to defend himself and cast a powerful defensive spell, he was still no match for Ling Xiao's terrifying fists. His defensive spells shattered one after another, and he was sent flying by Ling Xiao, coughing up blood. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. Saint Muyuan roared in anger. His eyes were extremely cold and filled with towering rage. He felt extremely aggrieved. Blazing divine light rose around him, and the void all around him trembled. However, it was unable to withstand Ling Xiao's fist will. Boundless light burst out from his eyes in an instant, and a mysterious aura of chaos permeated the air. The double pupils in his eyes, one black and one white, were like the most original power of heaven and earth. In an instant, they intertwined and shot towards Ling Xiao. The void was annihilated silently, and the supreme destructive force attacked as if it was going to turn everything into dust. This was the power of the Polychoria. It was said to contain the original energy of the heavenly way, and it was the incarnation of the heavenly way. It could control the power of the heavenly punishment, and it was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao felt a chill run down his spine, as if he was being stared at by some terrifying existence. Without thinking, he immediately cast a teleportation secret skill. His entire body was like a ray of chaotic light, shuttling through the void in an attempt to avoid the light of the original source. However, the Polychoria superpower was too terrifying, and it could destroy everything. At this moment, it had completely locked onto Ling Xiao, and it would not rest until it killed him. Open! Hundreds of millions of rays of light shot out from Ling Xiao's arms, and flames rose into the sky. In an instant, an Emperor Yen cauldron was formed in the void, exuding supreme divine power. The mouth of the cauldron exuded a power that could devour everything, and it wanted to swallow the Polychoria superpower. However, the chaotic aura spread out, and the black and white divine light intertwined. After rushing into the Emperor Yen cauldron, it trembled violently. In the next instant, the Emperor Yen cauldron shattered, and the two divine lights shot toward Ling Xiao. Buzz! Ling Xiao's glabella shone, and the vast divine light around him intertwined, forming a mysterious heaven-devouring divine sea behind him. It wanted to completely refine the black and white divine light. However, the black and white divine light seemed to contain an extremely powerful spirituality, and there was no way to refine it. Instead, it wanted to pierce through the heaven-devouring divine sea and into Ling Xiao's consciousness. Polychoria sky opening. At that moment, Saint Muyuan suddenly exclaimed, "Crack!" Chapter 2108. Boundless spatial turbulence surged, and chaotic light interweaved. It was extremely chaotic, containing the most original killing power. It was as if the scene of chaos splitting open was being reenacted. It was incomparably mysterious. Strands of laws swept across the void, and divine chains of orders sealed Ling Xiao's body. It was as if they wanted to annihilate Ling Xiao and the surrounding void at the same time. Ling Xiao can actually force Muyuan to use his Polychoria sky splitter? This kid is really terrifying. However, once he uses his Polychoria sky splitter, he's dead for sure. The sky-piercing demon Saint's eyes were filled with shock. He knew how terrifying Saint Muyuan's Polychoria sky splitter was. It was one of the ultimate secrets of his Polychoria. This move had allowed him to kill a saint before, and it possessed unfathomable power. This is the scene of the creation of heaven and earth. Is Ling Xiao really going to lose? He's not just going to lose. I'm afraid he's going to be completely annihilated. Everyone was shocked as well. Their eyes were filled with terror. Boundless chaotic energy rose, and the void in front of them seemed to distort. An ancient chaotic world appeared, and the terrifying aura made them tremble and palpitate even though they were far away. Boom! Ling Xiao seemed to have lost his sense of direction in the chaotic sky. He punched out like a dragon, and his physical body erupted with extreme power. However, he was still unable to break through the chaos. His body was bound by divine chains of order, and beams of destructive light exploded around him, causing his entire body to tremble violently. He staggered back, and even his aura became chaotic. What a powerful Polychoria sky splitter! The Polychoria sky splitter is indeed one of the top 3 eye techniques in all heavens. Ling Xiao thought to himself as his eyes flickered. He seemed to have been exiled by the endless chaos, and was about to be completely obliterated in the void. He had lost all sense of direction and perception. This state was extremely terrifying. Even an expert with a strong will would go crazy after a long time. The power of chaos is destruction, but it's also creation. Ling Xiao did not panic at all. Instead, his expression became incomparably calm. Rumble! He simply gave up on resisting. He closed his eyes and sat in the chaotic space, allowing the divine chains of order to interweave around him and the chaotic power to attack him. Brilliant light bloomed from Ling Xiao's body. Mysterious runes seemed to appear on his body. They contained chaotic luster and looked extremely mysterious. Ling Xiao's physical body was shattered. His entire body was severely injured. He was shaking violently and coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. However, his expression was extremely calm, as if he was not in pain at all. The chaotic qi in his body surged, containing a mysterious energy fluctuation, causing the chaotic qi in all directions to tremble. In the end, his body actually formed a mysterious resonance with the chaos around him. The chaos energy started to surge into his body, causing his aura to grow stronger and stronger. Rumble! Behind Ling Xiao, the sky-devouring divine ocean appeared. His entire being was like a bottomless black hole vortex that began to devour the vast chaotic energy around him. Heaven and earth began to tremble. It was as if there was the chanting of gods and demons, or the sound of all living beings praying. It was incomparably mysterious. What? Everyone shuddered, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. They originally thought that Ling Xiao was dead for sure. However, they suddenly realized that a mysterious nine-colored light suddenly bloomed in the chaotic space. The vast chaotic energy was being devoured like a whale swallowing the sea. In an instant, heaven and earth trembled. A mysterious figure bathed in nine-colored divine light rushed out of the chaotic space. A dazzling light broke through the chaotic space and shot towards Saint Sun Muyuan at an extremely fast speed. This is impossible. Saint Sun Muyuan looked as if he had seen a ghost. His entire body trembled violently. He could not believe what he was seeing. He had used the supreme Polychoria heaven-splitting divine ability. Not only was Ling Xiao not killed by him, but he also rushed out of the chaotic space and exploded with an even more terrifying power. It felt as if the power of the Polychoria heaven-splitting divine ability had been completely devoured by Ling Xiao. It had become a part of Ling Xiao's power and exploded with a fatal blow towards Saint Sun Muyuan. The nine-colored divine light was like a sword aura. Its speed was extremely fast. Saint Sun Muyuan's body trembled violently. The robe he was wearing was a powerful defensive sacred treasure. At this moment, it was unable to withstand the power of this attack and exploded into pieces. Bloody mist filled the void. A bloody hole the size of a fist appeared on Saint Sun Muyuan's chest. Fresh blood spurted out from the hole. I don't believe that you can break through my Polychoria heaven-splitting divine ability. Kill. Saint Sun Muyuan was completely deranged. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. 2 streams of blood flowed out from his eyes. A vast amount of chaotic energy gushed out, and an even more terrifying chaotic light burst out and shot towards Ling Xiao. I control the chaotic space. I shall suppress all enemies. Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold. His entire person seemed to have entered a mysterious state. An extremely cold voice came out of his mouth. In an instant, a vast amount of divine light gushed out. He opened his mouth and swallowed the chaotic light that Saint Sun Muyuan had unleashed into his stomach. Endless lightning seemed to burst out from within Ling Xiao's body. He flew across the sky, and an unparalleled light burst out from his palm. He attacked with all his might. You actually swallowed my Polychoria heaven-splitting divine ability? Saint Sun Muyuan seemed to have been scared out of his wits. His eyes were filled with terror. Rumble! Heaven and earth trembled. Just as he was distracted, Ling Xiao charged over like an ancient great emperor. His fist landed on Saint Muyuan's body and directly blasted him to smithereens. A blazing light burst out. Ling Xiao's fist released an unparalleled amount of divine power. It smashed Saint Sun Muyuan's head like a watermelon and dug out his eyes. This pair of eyes was a natural treasure that contained the secrets of chaos. Naturally, Ling Xiao would not let it go. Ling Xiao, I won't let you go. I will make sure that you die without a burial place and never reincarnate. Saint Sun Muyuan's physical body exploded, and his primordial spirit shot out from his body. He looked like a miniature version of Saint Sun Muyuan. At this moment, his eyes were filled with hatred. He glared at Ling Xiao and was about to break open the void and leave this place. You don't know what's good for you. Ling Xiao laughed coldly. The flipping sky seal flew out of his body in an instant. It contained the power to destroy everything. It broke through layers of the void in an instant and blasted directly on Saint Muyuan's primordial spirit. Let me go. Chapter 2109. Rumble. The divine light slowly dispersed, revealing Ling Xiao's figure. He stood in the air with his black hair fluttering in the wind. His white robe was stained with Saint Sun Muyuan's blood, and his eyes were blazing like lightning. He exuded an extremely terrifying aura, as if he was invincible in the world. Everyone was stunned. Their minds went blank. They were completely stunned by the scene in front of them, and their bodies couldn't stop trembling. What did they just see? The saint son of the heavenly cursed sect, a peerless genius of the heaven-treading realm, Muyuan, was killed by Ling Xiao just like that. Saint Sun Muyuan's strength was monstrous, and he was famous in the human race's saint city. Even the infamous sky-reaching demon saint was no match for him, and he was even qualified to fight for the ultimate fortune. However, he was killed by Ling Xiao. His physical body was blown apart, his polychoria was dug out, and even his primordial spirit was forcefully killed, completely annihilated. Everyone felt that it was extremely unreal. Sky-reaching demon saint, where do you think you're going? A cold voice sounded, accompanied by a silver spear light that pierced through the sky, as if it could annihilate everything. Feng Qingyang held the silver spear in his hand, and his murderous aura filled the sky as he shot towards the sky-reaching demon saint. After Ling Xiao killed Saint Sun Muyuan, the sky-reaching demon saint was completely scared out of his wits. He wanted to escape while everyone's attention was on Saint Sun Muyuan. However, Feng Qingyang's attention had always been on the sky-reaching demon saint. When he saw the sky-reaching demon saint trying to escape, he attacked without hesitation. Rumble! The blazing spear contained flames that could burn the heavens and destroy the earth. It pierced through the void and instantly blocked the sky-reaching demon saint's escape route, as if it was going to pierce through him directly. Feng Qingyang, you're courting death. The sky-reaching demon saint was furious, and his eyes were filled with incomparable madness. His demonic aura filled the sky, and a dazzling Tao immortal flower bloomed above his head, sprinkling down mysterious pearls. Boom! An unparalleled divine force erupted, and the great Tao immortal flower blocked Feng Qingyang's spear. The burst of divine force forced Feng Qingyang to retreat. The sky-reaching demon saint didn't dare to continue fighting. He could even feel Ling Xiao's cold gaze, which sent a chill down his spine. Without even thinking, he wanted to tear open the void and escape. You should go and accompany Mu Yuan. Ling Xiao's indifferent voice rang out. A chaotic fist print traversed the space and circled around the 3,000 great worlds. The unparalleled fist will directly shatter the space, causing the surroundings to tremble violently. Ling Xiao, you'll die a horrible death. A look of despair appeared in the sky-reaching demon saint's eyes as he roared furiously. Ling Xiao's punch made him feel the threat of death. Even Saint Muyuan had been killed by Ling Xiao, so how could sky-reaching demon saint, who had already been severely injured? Rumble! Unsurprisingly, the heavenly emperor's fist was domineering. It sealed off the surrounding void and pressed down mightily. The Tongtian demon saint's body crumbled with a loud bang. Even his primordial spirit was shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. Sky-reaching demon saint's great Tao immortal flower bloomed with brilliant light. As sky-reaching demon saint died, the great Tao immortal flower seemed like it was about to be annihilated. However, it was engulfed by a blazing, devouring vortex before it could be completely annihilated. Ling Xiao had used the sky-devouring secret skill to devour the great Tao immortal flower. The great Tao immortal flower contained the purest power of the great Tao law. It was even more precious than a divine elixir. It was simply a great supplement for Ling Xiao. After he devoured it, his body instantly emitted dazzling light, and his aura began to soar. In the blink of an eye, sky-reaching demon saint was completely killed. The entire place was dead silent. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao with reverence in their eyes. From today onwards, Ling Xiao's name will probably resound throughout the entire chaotic ancient land. Someone sighed softly. There were 108 ancient cities in the chaotic ancient land. Every ancient city had a peerless genius who dominated the world and was invincible. The peerless genius of the human clan was naturally the Son of Heaven. However, other than the Son of Heaven, there were many extremely powerful experts. These people also had hopes of competing for the final fortune. Everyone seemed to have seen another rising star in the human clan. Ling Xiao killed Mu Yuan. I'm afraid the heavenly curse sect won't let him off so easily. It said that a saint from the heavenly cursed sect severed his own saber and entered the chaotic ancient land. Now, he's cultivating in seclusion in a secret place. Once he returns to the saint realm, I'm afraid he'll come back to seek revenge on Ling Xiao. That's right. The 12 immortal sacred lands have a strong foundation. It's not as simple as it seems on the surface. Although it's the end of the era, very few of the billions of races in the universe dare to go head-to-head with the human clan because of the existence of the 12 immortal sacred lands. I hope Ling Xiao can survive this tribulation. I have a feeling that perhaps he really has a chance to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Son of Heaven. Everyone discussed softly as they watched Ling Xiao and Feng Qingyang leave and return to the human clan's holy city. Before the battle began, many people thought that Feng Qingyang would definitely die. After all, both the sky-piercing demon saint and Saint Muyuan were peerless geniuses with unparalleled combat strength. They were far from what Feng Qingyang could contend with. However, they didn't expect Ling Xiao to stand up at the critical moment and sweep away the crowd with his peerless strength. He killed the sky-piercing demon saint and Saint Muyuan consecutively. The impact of this battle was destined to be far-reaching. Many things that Ling Xiao didn't expect had happened. At this moment, Ling Xiao and Feng Qingyang had returned to the Qingyang Pavilion. Ling Xiao, I originally thought that I could fight with you after condensing the human venerable realm. However, I didn't expect the gap between us to grow bigger and bigger. Feng Qingyang said with some emotion. His eyes trembled and revealed a trace of awe. Ling Xiao's strength was far beyond his imagination. He was only a 9th revolution half-saint, but he was able to go against the odds and kill peerless geniuses of the 3rd stage of heaven treading. He had never heard of such a thing. From today onwards, the legend of immortality of the 3rd stage of heaven treading had been broken. I've said it before. Relying on me will be your greatest fortune. However, to be able to condense the human venerable realm so quickly, it seems that your talent is indeed not bad. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. His expression was very calm. Ling Xiao, you are indeed very strong. However, you must be careful of the Son of Heaven. The Son of Heaven's strength is not something you can imagine. Some people say that he has already ascended to the heaven realm. His essence, qi, and spirit have merged as one. He has the 3 flowers at one's prominence and is invincible. Some people also say that he has already become a saint in the heaven realm and is invincible. His strength is far beyond the likes of the sky-piercing demon saint and Saint Muyuan. Feng Qingyang said with a solemn expression. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.